Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Get there fast. Leave even faster.
Beautiful night in Toronto. The roof wide open at the Rogers Center for the second game of the series between the Blue Jays and the New York Yankees. A big night, as Jamie mentioned, on a couple of fronts. The Jays Care broadcast auction all night long with Ivanka Osmak, and also a very big game for the Blue Jays and a return as Francisco Liriano's back off the DL.
Absolutely, Dan. And the thing about Liriano, he's only made 7 starts, but his last 2 starts, he pitched a combined 5 2/3 against Cleveland and Tampa Bay, gave up 10 runs on 10 hits, and he just wasn't right. He didn't say anything about it, but he eventually went on the disabled list. His shoulder was barking at him. So you hope now that he's healthy, because when he throws the ball over, his stuff is dynamic, and I don't think he was right in any of those 7 starts. It's been an up and down season for him, but they need him healthy and back in this rotation.
And speaking of a guy with dynamic stuff, the Blue Jays will see one for the Yankees tonight in Michael Pineda.
Well, talking about health, he's finally healthy, Michael Pineda, and he's throwing the ball like we saw him a few years ago when he was with the Seattle Mariners. He's going to be awfully tough on right-handed batters. He can run that fastball in on the righties. He can throw that slider, and I think the hitters, especially the right-handed hitter for the Blue Jays, are going to have to lay off that slider when it's off the plate. But he is a tough customer for anybody.
Liriano and the Blue Jays heading onto the field. The field level action cam is brought to you by the Samsung Galaxy S8. Unbox your phone. So the Yankees 12-2 winners last night, as the Blue Jays now 2 games below 500. And let's show you the starting lineup for the Yankees tonight. The leaders in the American League East at 31-20. Gary Sanchez, 5 career home runs against the Blue Jays, and of course 2 of them in last night's game. And Aaron Hicks, what a night he had last night with 4 hits and 6 RBIs. He is in center field again tonight. Jacoby Ellsbury remains on the DL.
They will face Francisco Liriano. Gets the start for the first time since he landed on that disabled list with a shoulder inflammation. His last start was May the 10th. That was against the Indians when he allowed 7 earned runs on 5 hits in 2 innings. Buck was just talking about that. He had lost a couple of miles per hour on his fastball, and he just could not throw the ball where he needed to. He's looking for career win number 99. He's 98, 94, and 292 career Major League games, including 263 starts.
Well, the Blue Jays have had to mix and match on defense on a couple of different fronts, with Donaldson and Tulowitzki just coming back. In the outfield tonight, Carrera, Pilar, and Bautista from left to right. Tulowitzki and Travis up the middle. Donaldson's back at third base. Smoke's over at first. And Luke Maile makes his 19th start. Russell Martin actually came out, took some batting practice today, but just was not feeling right. His neck and shoulder still bothering him a bit, so he is not in the starting lineup tonight, as Luke Maile is once again doing the catching.
And could you ask for a better night to have the roof peeled back and a ball game here in downtown Toronto? The home plate umpire tonight is Adrian Johnson. Eric Cooper at first, Gary Cedarstrom at second, Gabe Morales at third. Brett Gardner digging in here at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays looking to even up this series at a win apiece. Gardner 6 for 16 in his career against Liriano, and having a very strong season, hitting for a lot of power. 11 home runs already. And the first pitch just off the outside edge for ball 1. Gardner last night recorded career hit number 1,000. A nice milestone for a guy who's been an important part of the Yankees for a number of years, but often overlooked with some of the bigger names they've had on their roster.
5th player in franchise history to be drafted and pick up his 1,000th hit with the Yankees. A little bit stronger base, I think, has a lot to do with what Gardner has been doing this year with his 11 home runs. He had a great month of May.
You can see the phone numbers at the bottom of your screen. Again, a reminder, tonight is the Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TD. Some outstanding prizes you can bid on, including a Sportsnet prize pack. You can come up to the booth, hang out with Buck and Tabby, visit with Campbell and Zahn before the game as well. Get a chance to see what's going on behind the scenes, and also some great trips going away to see the Blue Jays at Wrigley, see the Blue Jays at Fenway. If you want to see what all the prizes are, BlueJays.com/broadcast auction. There are some good ones. 3-1 on Gardner, leading off the ball game.
We talk about Liriano having a healthy shoulder facing this tough lineup. This is as good a lineup as there is in the East. It's got balance, it's got lefty power, righty power. But if Liriano can throw strikes, and he did in his rehab start, he had a real good ratio of strikes to balls, so hopefully he'll be in that strike zone enough tonight to be effective against the Yankees.
3-2, hit in the air left center. Pilar still going back. Carrera as well, and it's off the heel of Carrera's mitt. Falls to the turf. Gardner on his way to third and in there safely.
Looked like a catchable ball by Carrera. They've had their problems in the past. Pilar and Carrera communicating in the outfield. Looked like Pilar had peeled off, and Carrera was set to make the catch against Gardner. As he reaches up, that's his ball. He drops it, and Gardner looked like he had given up, if you will. That one right off the heel of the glove. He had slowed around first base like that ball was going to be caught. He's just jogging. He knows that's just a fly ball. And then he's got to kick it into gear once he sees the ball on the turf and makes it easily all the way to third base.
Well, he's fortunate he's got speed, because he certainly didn't run around first anticipating that ball being dropped.
An error has been charged to Carrera on the play, a 3-base error, and the Yankees looking to strike early.
Brett Gardner hit a leadoff double last night to start the game, and that put a lot of pressure on the starting pitcher, Marco Estrada.
It led to 4 runs for the Yankees in the top of the first.
Gary Sanchez ground ball down to third. Gardner can't go anywhere, and there's out number 1.
Yankees playing it safe here in the first inning. Runner on third base, nobody out. Gardner's going to play that ball through. Good play by Donaldson. Take away extra bases. That error by Carrera, his first of the season, dropping that ball in left field.
He's still feeling it a little bit out there. Knows that ball needed to be caught. Here's Aaron Judge. Had an RBI single in the first inning of last night's game. Wound up 1 for 4 with a walk. Joe Girardi was talking about Judge before the game. The question was, do you guys watch his BP sessions a little bit more closely? And he said, of course we do. And he said there were people up in the restaurant, as he called it, the WestJet flight deck, and he said they weren't safe up there during BP. Good block there by Mahle.
I was standing next to Girardi while he was hitting, and it was absolutely incredible where he hit some of these balls. And Joe and I looked at each other and said, good thing we're not hitting in this group. We would hurt ourselves. But he had Castro, Carter, Matt Holliday, and Aaron Judge. That's the 4-man group, and you talk about putting on a display. Joe said the equipment man came to him the other day back home and says, hey, Joe, I think the guys are throwing too many baseballs up into the stands during batting practice. He goes, nobody's throwing them up there. This group loses 60 balls a day.
There was maybe 10 balls left at the end of their session today.
6'7", 282, and the major league leader in home runs. Chases 2-2.
Well, you talk about a guy who can hit the ball a long way. Take a look where this one ends up. Now, there's a couple of fans out there. You think they were expecting a baseball during batting practice up there?
They didn't even know what it was. What was that?
UFO landed up in the 5th deck. 2-2. Got him. Big strikeout for out number 2.
Well, when his slider is working, I think that's going to be a key for Francisco Liriano. This is a slider that he's going to throw in and pick up a big strikeout. The Super Slow-Mo replay is powered by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV. And Liriano gets a big strikeout against Aaron Judge.
So can Liriano get out of this situation that began with a 3-base error on Ezekiel Carrera? He's gotten 2 very big outs. Now he's got to deal with Matt Holliday. Holliday, the DH, hitting .271, 11 homers, good numbers, very good numbers, in fact, in his career against Liriano. .344 with a couple of homers.
He's always been a big power hitter, production hitter, good hitter, batting champ for Colorado. So he will take what Liriano will give him. He had a couple of hits in last night's game going the other way, staying on Marco Estrada very effectively.
They play him basically straight up on the infield, just slightly to pull. He will drive the ball, as you say, up the middle into the opposite field.
I think that's why he's such a good hitter. You can't overshift against him. He hits the ball wherever it's pitched.
Well, this would be a real boost for the Blue Jays if Liriano can get out of this. Maley another block.
Maley's made 2 good blocks in this inning on a hard slider and that changeup in the dirt, and Luke's catching Liriano for the first time, and it's really a challenge. He's a hard guy to catch because he throws the ball all over the place, and it's hard. That's the changeup that he throws in the dirt, but Luke does a terrific job of getting over to his left, keeping the glove low enough to get a piece of it.
Fly ball to left field. Carrera has room, and the inning is over. So Liriano does a great job pitching around that error, and the Yankees don't cash in. After the 3-base error, very relieved that no runs scored. Marcus Stroman out to meet him on top of the steps. Joe Biagini and a number of his teammates trying to make him feel a little bit better about what happened. Francisco Liriano certainly picked up his teammate. Here's the starting lineup for the Blue Jays tonight, including Justin Smoak, who continues to have a very strong season, hitting almost .330 over his last 19 games. He is in the 5 spot tonight. And Devin Travis, who did not play last night, again, the knee thing was really just more of a maintenance day for him, and he's back in there and batting 7th tonight.
Getting the start tonight for the New York Yankees, Michael Pineda, his 11th start of the season. He's won his last 3 starts. Take a look at the strikeouts and the walks. A 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, 66 strikeouts, just 12 base on balls this year. He's given up 3 earned runs or fewer in 9 straight starts. Yankees are 8-2 in his 10 starts this season.
Kevin Pillar will lead it off and take a strike right down the middle. Pillar, Donaldson, and Bautista here in the bottom of the 1st. Back to the mound, past Pineda, and Castro will get Pillar by a half step.
Michael Pineda almost reached for that with his bare hand and realized I got some pretty good defenders up the middle, so he pulled his hand back. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense. Brett Gardner, Aaron Hicks, and Aaron Judge in the outfield. Headley and Gregorius on the left side. Castro and Carter on the right side. Gary Sanchez, the young catcher behind the plate. Aaron Judge, of course, everybody's paying attention to the way he's swinging the bat. He's a good defender. Big guy that runs well, and he's got a very good arm, and he has certainly held his own defensively in the outfield and has already made some highlight reel catches out there.
Josh Donaldson, the batter for the Blue Jays, 286, 3 home runs, including that 500 level home run down the left field line earlier in the homestand. And he might just have added to his home run total. Gardner's going to watch it go.
Fourth home run of the season for Josh Donaldson. I'll tell you what, that timing is coming around, and it's coming around quickly. Missed some time because of the injury to his calf on the disabled list, so it's going to take some time for him to get his timing back. He's getting it. That was a hanging breaking ball, and he stayed right with it.
Well, not only is it an important swing of the bat by Donaldson, that's just his second career hit against Michael Pineda. He was 1 for 18 before that home run, and Donaldson's timing is going to come around each time he gets a few more at bats, and boy, that's a good sign. Take a look at this swing. That's a hanger, and it's inside, and JD kept his head down and turned on it, and the Blue Jays have an early lead.
The Blue Jays have now homered in 20 of their last 22 games, 40 home runs overall. And they've got more home runs against right-handed pitching the last 3 weeks than any team in baseball. The power has really come back. Donaldson, Bautista, Travis with the home runs and the doubles, Smoke. This is the offense I think that both management and fans envisioned seeing.
I think everybody in baseball knows how tough it is in the American League East.
Hicks will come in, and Bautista is retired.
That is such a good sign to see Donaldson do that. Wait on it. He's got that timing mechanism where he lifts his leg, drops his hands, and then gets him back into hitting position, and that's all timing. You got to make sure you can get that front foot down. And he is all over that. Pineda, you throw it and then you duck your head. You know it. You know that sound.
So the Blue Jays do something they haven't done a whole lot of lately, and that's take an early lead, up 1-0 here in the bottom of the first. Kendrys Morales, who homered last night. Solid production numbers, 11 home runs, 31 RBIs at the 1/3 point of the season. So if you project that out to 33 and 93, that's pretty good production. Shift on as always for Morales, 3 on the right side. Gregorius alone on the left side. The third baseman Headley is the way the Yankees do it. That's Headley just to the right of second base. Castro out in right field, and Gregorius, the shortstop, stays in his natural spot. Pineda's been much more consistent this year than he has been at most times of his career. The first start of his season wasn't good, but ever since then he's been really good, and he and Luis Severino have been major contributors in this Yankee rotation this year. And there's ball 4.
He's such an imposing figure on the mound at about 6'7", maybe 260, with good stuff, good fastball and a good slider. This year he's commanding that fastball and slider a lot better than he has in the past, and I think a lot of it has to do with health, that he's finally healthy.
Yeah, he's been dealing with a lot of injuries over the last few years, and now he's healthy. He missed the entire 12 and 13 season, and Yankees got him when he was hurt. They had to wait him out, let him get healthy, and he's bounced back very effectively this season. This is his 11th start. And the Yankees, after that first start where he lost to Tampa Bay, they have done a great job with him on the mound.
Here's Justin Smoke.
He's already matched his win total from last season.
Yeah, 6-12 last year, 6-2 this year. We asked Smoke around the cage before the game because every hitter gets in there, and the first 2 pitches they see, they bunt. Everybody. And Smoke bunted a couple very well up the third base line. Now, granted, that was Derek Shelton throwing about 58. Never mind. The bunt is no longer in play. Smoke Smoke said, yeah, I like to swing away. And now we see why. 3-0 Blue Jays.
Yeah, he said, I'm afraid to bunt because I always bunt it over towards the third base coach's box. I can't keep it fair. And why would you bunt when you can swing the bat like he's been swinging it this year? Home run number 13. He's so balanced at the plate. There's not a lot of extra movement in his swing this year. It's quiet, and they've worked on him trying to get through the baseball and finishing his swing. That's how you finish your swing. You knock it off the third deck.
Smoke has 36 RBIs now, and he has really done a great job. His career high in RBIs was back in 2015, his first year here. He drove in 59, but he's going to go past that if he continues to swing the bat the way he is right now.
3-0 Blue Jays, both homers coming on 1-0 pitches. Here's Troy Tulowitzki.
Not a lot of movement. You see how quiet he is, and there's the finish. Finish through the baseball. And a high finish. Look at, you can track that one. This will show you how far this ball goes off the bat of Smoke.
Remember at the beginning of the year, he was really struggling from this side of the plate, but the more playing time he's gotten, the left side's really come around. If he could have given us one more pitch to finish the bunt against the shift story before he hit the ball out of the ballpark, it would have been a nice moment. But you can't quarrel with the result.
Point made, though. That's why he doesn't bunt,
That's right.
Because he can do that.
Gregorius and Tulowitzki retired to end the inning. Very productive inning, though, for the Blue Jays. A couple of home runs off Michael Pineda. It starts with Josh Donaldson hitting his 4th, and then Justin Smoke his 13th, and no doubter to right.
Rogers Center. It's the Jays Care broadcast auction, and I am here at the Jays Care Community Clubhouse with participants in the Home Run Scholars After School program. Yes, they are very psyched. And joining me is TD's Claudine DuPont. And Claudine, TD sponsors the Home Run Scholars program. Tell us about their commitment to literacy and TD's partnership with Jays Care.
Great. Yeah, TD's been a long-standing partner of Jays and the Jays Care Foundation, and we're very excited about the program these kids are here with today, which is the Home Run Scholar program, right? So TD's other programs that also support financial literacy help these kids build lifelong skills, right? Leadership skills. And so we're really happy we can make a huge impact in the communities across Canada, especially here in Toronto.
All right, Claudine, thank you to you. Thank you to TD, really, for helping us level the playing field for Canadian children and youth. Okay, guys, can you say back to you, Dan?
Back to you, Dan!
Well done. Hazel, you got some good help down there. The Jays Care Foundation, their mission statement is using baseball to teach life skills and create lasting social change for children and youth in marginalized communities across Canada. And this year, Jays Care will invest over $6 million from coast to coast. And a good chunk of that money coming tonight with a broadcast auction. So you see the phone numbers at the bottom of your screen. A lot of great prizes to be bid on here tonight. Meanwhile, Francisco Liriano is back. Looked very good in the first inning. Donaldson and Smoke with home runs in the bottom of the first. Starlin Castro leads off the second for the Yankees.
What a turnaround inning it was after the 3-base error by Carrera for Liriano. to leave Gardner stranded at third and then have his team come back and score 3 runs. This is a big game for the Blue Jays psychologically after the Yankees really pummeled them last night 12-2. You get Liriano back. Donaldson hits a home run. Smoke hits a home run. And this is a real confidence booster for the Blue Jays. They need to win this game tonight just to get over that loss last night. They're having a good homestand, and they have to continue that.
They were feeling pretty good about themselves after that Red Series swept them, and then they were shell-shocked, I thought, last night when the Yankees came in here and got 4 quick ones in the first, another one in the second.
Tulowitzki up with it. Dug out by Smoke for out number 1.
And it all starts on the mound, doesn't it?
Don't care who you are. If you have a well-pitched game, you're going to be in every game, and I think everybody in this East understands it. And the separation, I think, at the end of the year is going to be who has the best starting pitching. And that's the way it was for the Blue Jays last couple of years, how they were able to hang in there because of their starting pitching. It's going to be the same this year.
The other series, American League East style, that's going on tonight. They're underway in Baltimore at Camden Yards, and the Orioles have a 2-0 lead on the Red Sox in the second inning. And no shock here, they've hit a couple of home runs. Seth Smith and Manny Machado have homered for the O's.
Manny Machado's home run, I understand, went in the second deck at Camden Yards. Something that hasn't happened there since 2011. A right-hander hitting one in the second deck in left field. That's a missile.
Yeah. Rick Porcello on the mound for the Red Sox tonight, giving up those home runs.
The concern for the Orioles is Manny's hitting .215.
Yeah.
And he's a much better hitter than that, so they're trying to figure out how to get him turned around. Maybe that one swing of the bat tonight will get him going. I remember they had the All-Star game there. Juan Gonzalez hit a couple balls up in that second deck, and it was unheard of at that time. But
yes.
Now guys are a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and what allowed Manny to get up there tonight.
Hicks drives the ball to right center field. Pilar can't get there. One bounce off the wall, and Hicks, who had 4 hits and 6 RBIs last night, is at second with a 1-out double.
3 of those hits last night, Dan, were doubles. 3 doubles, 6 RBIs, and he starts off tonight with another extra base hit.
He last year struggled his first year with the Yankees. He didn't play a lot, but this year, because of an assortment of injuries and the fact that he's had more at bats, he's swinging the bat very, very well. If you look at his numbers from a year ago, his OPS was .617. This year it's over 1. And he's done a heck of a job filling in. He's played 39 games in the outfield, and he has filled in left, center, and right.
And with Jacoby Ellsbury on the DL right now, the concussion DL, and supposedly getting closer, but you never know a guy's going to be back until he's back in that kind of a situation. I don't know that there's any guarantee that Hicks goes back to his 4th outfielder role the way that he's swinging the bat right now.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult. I spoke to Jacoby today about his concussion, and he said, you know what we have to do is we have to get my heart rate up as if I were playing a game again, and then the symptoms will come back if they're going to come back. So he said, I'm getting closer. I said, I still feel kind of nauseous, and if I do too much activity, I can feel it. So he says the first thing we have to do is get to a point where I can get my heart rate up as it would be during a game, and then I can advance to baseball activities, but he's not there yet.
0-2 to D.D. Gregorius, swing and a miss, and Liriano gets him for the second out.
Hit a home run with any project this season. Home Hardware, proud sponsor of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful night here in southern Ontario. The roof wide open at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays enjoying an early 3-0 lead on the Yankees. Dan Schulman to Buck Martinez, Pat Tabler. As Smoke gives chase, this ball off the bat of Headley, though, winds up a few rows back out of play. Expecting a crowd of over 40,000 tonight, and up in the 45,000, 46,000 range for both of the games tomorrow and Sunday afternoons. Always a little extra juice in the ballpark when the Yankees come to town. And they are the division leaders right now. The 3rd best record in all of baseball, behind only Houston and Washington.
Only 4 teams in baseball that have drawn over 1 million fans at home, and the Blue Jays are the only American League team to do that.
1-1 the count on Chase Headley, the Yankee third baseman, hitting .237. There's a slider in for a strike. 1-2.
That's an important pitch for him right there. He can throw that when he's behind in the count like he did. He can throw it 2-0, and if he's throwing it for a strike, it can become very dangerous. I've been watching to see what his fastball is doing, and he's hitting some 93s and some 94s. His last start against Cleveland wasn't there. It was 91. Saw some 90s. Got a little extra pop tonight.
Fly ball to left. Carrera broke back. Now comes in and makes the catch to end the inning. No runs, a double. The man left on at second. 3-0 Blue Jays. We'll check in with Ivanka Osmak from the auction when we come back.
For the Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TD, and we're bringing some hoops into this auction this year because this is bucket list worthy. It is a slam dunk experience, 30-minute shoot around at BioSteel Center, and then how about this? One of the best rivalries in sports, UNC Duke, going to Duke, flying into North Carolina, and then spending the night there. Right now, the highest bid is going for $2,500, but I don't think the viewers know that you get to meet and greet Dan Shulman. That's priceless, Dan, don't you think?
We're trying to make the price go up,
yeah,
Ivanka.
Not down.
Not down. Let's put Carolyn Cameron to work. She's on the phone on the right. This is a great trip, and we talked about it last night. If you're a college basketball fan, a chance to go to Duke, see North Carolina play Duke in March of this coming season. Carolyn working hard on the phone. So let's get the bidding up. Let's bring some more money into Jays Care.
I think Duke has the second or third ranked incoming freshman class again.
Yep.
So they're going to be good.
They're going to be good. Carolina's going to be good.
They're always good.
Always and it is a phenomenal rivalry. One of the many great packages. You can see the Blue Jays play at Wrigley or at Fenway. You can go up to CN Tower with Joe Biagini, spend some time with him. You can fire up the Grilly. You can get some cleats designed with Kevin Pillar, spend some time with the Blue Jays center fielder. Devin Travis retired one down. Blue Jays up 3-0 here in the bottom of the second. Home runs in the first by Josh Donaldson and Justin Smoke. Second of 4 games between these division rivals, with Jordan Montgomery facing the aforementioned Joe Biagini tomorrow afternoon, and then Sunday afternoon Luis Severino and Marcus Stroman. Carrera is going to try to bunt his way aboard. Pineda slips, still makes the play, but right away both Carrera and Tim Leeper are saying, hey, have a look.
Pineda's a big man, and he got a lot of weight going toward that first base foul line, and he slipped just as he was making the throw, but he still made a pretty good throw, just didn't get a lot on it. And Carrera hustling down the line. He dropped down a pretty good bunt.
From up here, it looked like he was safe. You would like to get him involved and get Pineda trying to field that baseball.
And the Blue Jays have asked for this play to be reviewed.
Sure looks like he was across the bag before Carter could catch the ball.
Absolutely. Yeah, this should be a quick one. Crowd just saw it up on the Jumbotron, and this one shouldn't take long.
He did the right thing. You can see he's already on the bag right at the beginning before the ball even gets into the glove. But he hit the front part of the bag. He didn't jump. He didn't lunge. He stayed low to the ground and just put that front foot on the front part of the base, and he's going to get himself an infield hit.
He did a good job of bunting that way toward the end of the bat, and that took a lot of the sting out of it, and he is safe. Gary Cedars-Strong, the crew chief, waving the safe sign. Blue Jays trying to improve their challenge record. They haven't had a real strong challenge record this year, but they win one there.
Because you can find every stat you ever want to find in baseball, we can tell you, thanks to Scott Carson, that now their challenge rate, they are 6 out of 17. 353 is an excellent batting average, but you'd like to be up and over 500 in the challenge average. Carrera aboard with a 1 out, and here's Luke Maile. And if you're just joining us, Russell Martin not in the lineup tonight, out with a neck issue that the Blue Jays do not believe, or at least say is not related, they don't think, to that nerve shoulder issue that put Martin on the DL a while back.
Russell came out today, took some batting practice, and then left, and it looked like he had full extension with that left side when he was finishing his swings.
Sanchez threw the ball very well from the catcher's position last year. He threw out almost 39% of the runners, 12 to 31. This year, not so good, at least at the start. He's catching just the 25th game of the season. He's only got 2 of 12 so far. But he's got a strong arm.
Oh, boy, he can shut down a running game.
Maile takes it low, a ball and a strike. Looking down to Luis Rivera at third for the sign as Pineda kind of gathers his thoughts, staring out towards center field. Pineda, a free agent at the end of the season, so this is a big year for him on an individual basis, and he's become a very important part of this team. A solid part, to say the least, of their rotation so far this year. Popped up, and Gregorius there for the second out.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by Samsung QLED TV. Experience Canada's team in all the colors of the game with the next innovation in TV.
Two down in the bottom of the second, and the Blue Jays up 3-0.
Michael Pineda may have stretched something out when he made that awkward throw to first base. He continues to shake his right arm out like something doesn't feel right. He made an awkward throw when he slipped on that bunt by Carrera.
Here's the bunt. He gets off the mound, slips. Can't get much on that throw. Well, you could really twist an ankle when you're that big and you're trying to stop that suddenly.
That is a big man that came crashing to the ground, and he continues to make a motion with that right arm, and as if he doesn't feel normal.
You surprised that they haven't kind of called time to go out and check?
Not yet. I mean, Larry Rothschild, and there's not a better pitching coach in all of baseball than Larry, and he's got a good eye for when something is awry.
Carrera the lead not going. Pilar tries to check the swing and succeeds. Ball 2. John Gibbons was asked before the game about Kevin Pilar, and kind of the last week the numbers have taken a dip, one for his last 28, and Gibby said basically that, you know, all hitters go through this. Pilar may have been due for some kind of a correction, but he said he's got to stay with the plan that he developed in spring training. He's got to stay disciplined. He can't go hunting base hits is the term that he used. Lines it into center. That'll drop for a base hit. Pilar now 1 for 2, and Carrera up to second.
Kevin was saying around the batting cage today, he said, I felt good after last night's game. hit a couple of balls hard last night, and that's always the start of something good. When you're seeing the ball and you're starting to hit it hard, that's a good swing right there. 2-0, he gets a fastball, doesn't try and do too much with it, and he's got his first base hit.
Well, one thing Kevin really wants to avoid is become a one-dimensional hitter, and that he's just pulling the ball all the time. He wants to use the whole field, and that was a good approach for him there. He got the base hit to center.
So 2 men on, 2 men out. And here's Josh Donaldson, who homered his first time up. Lays off the slider down low for ball 1. Donaldson with a home run has now raised his average up to 300. And he looks like he hasn't missed a beat since he came off the DL.
He got a hanging breaking ball that he hit, and those are the hardest pitches to get your timing on of breaking balls. When you're coming back from a long absence, you can catch up to the fastball a lot quicker than you can the breaking ball.
Throw down to second. Back in is Carrera. Throw gets away. Carrera heading for third and in there.
Boy, Zeke with terrific instincts, is once that ball was low in the dirt in front of Castro, he popped to his feet and never hesitated as he broke toward third. Watch the ball as it goes from the catcher. It's a short throw, and Carrera sees it bounce away from Castro, and even though Gregorius is right there, Carrera is able to take the extra base.
And Gregorius off balance, kind of falling backwards as he made the throw. So Carrera into third, E2, error on Sanchez on the throw, and runners on the corners, and a 2-0 count on Donaldson. Blue Jays looking to expand this 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the second.
He's got a good arm, and he's not afraid to show it off. That was a little unnecessary right there. Runner at second base really didn't have a chance to pick him off.
Made 4 errors already. This is just his 25th game. But now that makes that slider in the dirt a little more problematic for the Yankees.
Ground ball to short, and the short way to force Pilar and end the inning. Blue Jays with a couple of hits, but nothing across. 3-0 at the end of 2.
Getting away this summer, taking in the Jays and Red Sox series, middle of July, Fenway Park. If you haven't been before, you got to go, and if you've been, why not go again? It did start at $2,000, but currently it's going for $5,600. Of course, this includes a behind-the-scenes tour of the historic park. Pretty cool stuff. Dan?
Very cool stuff, and one of about a dozen great items up for bid tonight at the Jays Care Foundation, presented by TD. Smile, folks. It's a ball game. Chris Carter, a swing and a miss, and we're underway here in the third. How many teams do you see where the third baseman hits 8th and the first baseman hits 9th? In traditional times, those were power spots. And Carter certainly has a ton of power. Hit 41 home runs last year for Milwaukee, but not making a lot of contact this year. And with so many of his teammates hitting well, he's all the way down to 9th.
Well, we had talked about it earlier how a reigning home run champ batting 9th in the lineup. The last time it happened, it was Andrew Jones in New York, where he was a reigning home run champ. But Joe Girardi talked about these lineups in the East. He said, you know what? We used to worry about 3, 4, and 5 in the middle of the order. Now you got to worry about every single one of these guys. And it's every team in a division. They got hitters all the way through the lineup. And it doesn't make any difference. Joe says, you know, they always ask me about protection in the lineup. He said, we got 7 guys that could hit 20 home runs. Who are you going to protect?
The DH. This is what they had in mind when they wanted to inject some offense in the American League with the DH.
You know, the funny thing is, though, this year the American League and the National League are basically exactly even in terms of runs per game. And maybe that won't hold over the next 2/3 of the season, but somehow with the pitcher hitting the National League, there's as much offense there. This ball's well struck left center. Pilar giving chase. It's by him and over the wall on a bounce for a ground rule double.
What's amazing is all the home runs that are the ball's flying out of the ballpark again, and it's just starting to warm up. Chris Carter, you can see how big he is. Buck, that's the guy you were talking about was in the group with Judge and Holiday and Castro. He's got plenty of power. He was putting on a show today too. He was hitting him up into the WestJet flight deck. That's just using his hands. Look how far that line drive goes. About 400 feet to center field.
Yeah, power's never been his problem. Contact has always been a problem for him. He strikes out an awful lot.
So Liriano's been in the stretch a lot. A 3-base error on Ezekiel Carrera with Gardner at the plate back in the first, but Liriano pitched out of that. A 1-out double for Aaron Hicks in the second, and now a leadoff double for Chris Carter in the third.
Well, we talked about Liriano being hurt early on, and he probably pitched 2 or 3 games where he wasn't 100% and was just trying to pitch through it, but it didn't work, and because of that he had a lot of walks. He had 23 walks in 28 in the third innings, and he had the highest walks per 9 innings among any starter that had made a minimum of 5 starts. But he looks healthy tonight, and he's throwing that fastball with a lot of late movement, and that's a pretty good indicator that he's sound once again.
You knew something had to be wrong just based on what we saw in the spring. I mean, he came in and was firing BBs this spring. Nobody could hit him.
Yeah, and he didn't walk anybody.
Didn't walk anybody.
Last year as a Blue Jay, a 2.92 ERA in 10 appearances, 8 of them starts, only 16 walks in 49 and a third, and 52 strikeouts. And came into this year, a lot of people expecting him to have a huge year. Fouled back 2-2. It's kind of a wild card for the Blue Jays. A healthy, effective Liriano versus a not healthy or somewhat erratic Liriano. There's a huge gap between those two.
Yeah, it's dramatic because when he's on and throwing it over, he didn't have to hit his spots. He just has to throw it over because he's got such dramatic movement on all 3 of his pitches. But when he's not healthy, he's not close. And hitters know that. They recognize it immediately.
It's a problem the Blue Jays would love to have. But assuming Happ stays healthy, Liriano stays healthy, Sanchez comes back, with Biagini in there, 6 starters for 5 spots. And every team would like to have this problem, but there's only room for 5 of them long term.
Yeah.
Makes your bullpen a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
One of them's going to the bullpen. And the Blue Jays got some good news today about Aaron Sanchez. Now, Gibbons was saying before the ball game, it seems like he was just about healed. The blood blister on his right hand, and he's doing some drills down in the bullpen, some towel drills, trying to keep his arm strong. He will make a rehab start, though.
Yeah, John Gibbons said without question Aaron will go out on rehab. He said he's doing everything but throwing a baseball. The towel drill, as you talked about, of the bullpen to keep that arm strong. Little inside for ball 4 to bring up Gary Sanchez, who Buck last night had a very big night at the expense of the Jays.
Well, he sure did. He had 2 home runs in the game, his 4th multi-home run game, and the 2nd time he's had 2 home runs in a game, and both of those games have been against Marco Estrada. A couple of high changeups, and Marco just didn't have that great location of his changeup. You can see both of those pitches are about belt high, and Sanchez is so strong. But he had gone through a long homerless drought, and Marco gave up a couple home runs to him last year, and he was just off on his location. But you know what? He had the great approach. He sloughs it off, says, hey, you know, just one of those nights where everybody in their lineup was swinging the bats well, and he wasn't hitting the spots.
He's got incredible power. He's got 4 multi-home run games now in his young career.
Two on with nobody out. Sanchez hits a bullet to second, and the runners get back. Travis makes the catch. That ball was a screamer.
Good job by the Yankee base runners to just freeze on a line drive. This had triple play written all over it. But the runners stay very close to the base. They're thinking 1 base at a time, and that thing was a rocket right at Travis. Nothing he can do with it afterwards.
Not a thing. It was hit too hard. The base runners couldn't get far enough off the base to be doubled up.
Now Aaron Judge. Liriano struck him out in the 1st. Right at the bottom of the zone, 0-1.
There was a triple play turned last night by the Angels, a traditional around the horn 5-4-3 triple play started by Miguel Sano, who's really playing well.
You guys ever involved in one on either side of the ball at the big league level?
Yeah, I've seen a couple. I've been in the ballpark when we've turned a couple, but never hit one. If I had runners at 1st and 2nd, I'm bunting.
You ever part of turning one, Tabby? Or
I cannot recall.
No?
I cannot recall that. Maybe in the minor leagues somewhere. And I cannot recall in the major leagues. That thing had triple play written on it. Base runners, you're taught, right? Line drive, you're down by 3 runs, make the ball go through. Did a good job. They just took a couple of steps and just froze. We'll have to ask Devin about that ball. What was that like coming at you?
I like that he didn't take his glove off and kind of wring his hand out, because that one must have stung. In there for a strike, 2-2.
Boy, Liriano's making a lot of quality pitches, and he's really keeping the ball down to Judge. He's been able to get that slider over, and he has confidence that he can throw that slider for a strike just about any time he wants to. Now he can throw that hard slider, bury it in the dirt, and try to get Judge to chase it.
He's at 50 pitches right now. John Gibbons saying 80 to 90 is the range they're looking for here tonight. Blue Jays would love to get a strong 5 at least out of Liriano. As the sign he's looking for from Maile.
Changeup. Wanted that changeup away from Judge. This is the aspect we talked about with the depth of these lineups in the American League East. You get Judge out, you still got to deal with Halladay.
Yeah. You can't find too many soft spots in a lot of these lineups. Pitchers will do that. They'll find guys that they feel comfortable with, pitch around certain guys to get to. Can't do that in the American League East.
Just outside, and the bases are loaded.
That's one aspect of Aaron Judge's game now that I'm impressed with. The way he's laying off those pitches now. Last year he was swinging away. Very smart guy, and he knows that pitchers are going to be nibbling on the corners against him, and he just laid off of it.
So now Matt Holliday hit a fly ball to left field his first time up. Bases loaded, 1 out. Yankees threatening here in the 3rd with the Blue Jays leading 3-0. Mentioned his first time up. Holliday, a lot of success against Liriano in his career. A lot of time against one another when Holiday was a Cardinal and Liriano was a Pirate. And now the command is getting away from Liriano a bit here this inning.
Just spun out of his delivery, and you know, Russell Martin knows him better than anybody. He said, I've just tried to convince him that about 85% effort with his movement is enough. You don't have to throw it. Max effort all the time. Just like that. Little change up at 86. Very effective. And Russell's been working with him. Obviously, they were together in Pittsburgh and now here in Toronto. He's just one of those guys that he just tenses up and wants to muscle his way through every tough jam.
1-1. Out of play off to the right.
He's also said he's the kind of guy that you can pitch backwards with. If you need a strike, you don't have to throw a fastball with him. Sometimes a good slider is more effective. And then in a slider situation, I can use the fastball.
I really like that Maile went out to talk about this next pitch. It's a tough situation, and 1-2. Luke hasn't caught him much, so he went out there and says, okay, what do you want to do now? What are you most comfortable? You remember a couple pitches earlier, he had a tough time getting to the right pitch that Liriano wanted. So now they talked about it.
1-2 on the way. Down to third. To second one. To first. Double play. What a pick by Smoke. And Liriano pitches out of trouble again. Holiday hit it hard, but right at Josh Donaldson, and the Blue Jays go around the horn 5-4-3 to turn the double play and keep the Yankees off the board. One more look going to break.
Blue Jays up 3-0 here in the home half of the third, and Batista has established himself as a pretty good fastball hitter. But in the month of April, take a look. Versus the fastball, he hit only 174, but look at May. Skyrockets to 382. Batista telling me the biggest difference with this, he felt better rhythm-wise. He's sticking to his approach, not going out of the strike zone a lot, essentially not missing his pitch as he was in the first month. Hitting coach Brooke Jacoby echoing those sentiments, saying once you get your rhythm down, that in turn, Dan, leads to good timing. The two go hand in hand, and you're seeing the results.
Well, it is amazing how much has changed offensively for this team since the first month. When Bautista didn't hit, Travis didn't hit, then they both had monster Mays. Donaldson and Tulowitzki came back. They went from being one of the worst offensive teams in baseball in April to one of the best offensive teams in May.
Blue Jays have had a history of doing that, and they haven't had very good Aprils in 3 of the last 4 Aprils. And they have been 10 and 9 games better, 15, 16, and 17 in May than they were in April. So I think a lot of the guys are just getting their timing down during the regular season. Devin Travis, of course, had a knee problem. He couldn't get many at-bats. Josh Donaldson had a calf injury in spring. He couldn't get many at-bats. Bautista, after he came back from the WBC, had a bad back, and that threw him off stride a bit. So it took them all the while, and they got about 95 at-bats during the month of April, all but Josh, of course, who was out along with Tulowitzki. But I think historically the Blue Jays just haven't performed well in April, and they don't get enough work in on a regular basis in spring training.
And the guys who did get a lot of at-bats in spring training, Pilar and Smoke, Morales, Kendrys Morales, they got a lot of at-bats in the spring. They had good Aprils.
Check swing foul off. It remains 2-2 on Bautista. Tough to get Devin Travis out these days. 16 doubles, 4 home runs in May, but did not win American League Player of the Month. Carlos Correa of Houston, who had a sizzling month as well, was the winner. No swing, full count.
This lineup, just like the Yankees lineup, you have to pick your poison. You decide to challenge one guy, next guy can hurt you just as much as this guy. So it's really difficult to work your way through these powerful lineups. One good hitter after another.
And Bautista will draw the leadoff walk. More on the Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TD. Let's send it back to Ivanka.
What really happens behind the scenes of a Jays broadcast? Now's your chance to pull back that curtain. How about this? A private tour of the Sportsnet studios, including the Tim and Sid set. You get to meet Zani and Campbell before the game. Go into the broadcast booth and see all those buttons and screens there. You can find out if they actually do something. Also, you get to meet Buck and Pat in the booth, and 2 tickets to a Jays game. Currently, it is going for $3,500. Dan.
What really happens behind the scenes in the booth, guys?
We can't tell you, Dan.
Nope. I'll have to outbid somebody to get that.
It's a very worthwhile auction item because you really get to see what television is all about, and you get to meet everybody and come in the truck, look in the truck in the studio, come up to the broadcast booth. It's a great time, and as you can tell, we have a good time doing it, so you can imagine what the preparation is like. It's a lot of fun as well.
Best part of the day is when we go down to the truck for our production meetings. That's where we have a lot of fun with the guys. And if you have a chance to watch the game from the truck, how they turn the magic and make us look good.
And I know all of us would agree with that. It's great to be in the booth, but everybody we know who goes to the truck during the game wants to stay in the truck for longer, because that's where the cool stuff actually happens. 1-1 the count on Kendrys Morales. Walked and scored on the Justin Smoke home run back in the first. One of 2 homers for the Blue Jays tonight. Josh Donaldson the other. You also get a chance to visit the set where Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn hang out down the third base line. Wave, fellas. Are they listening? Wave, fellas.
Nope.
They're not listening.
They're not listening.
Guys, are they watching?
Wave, fellas.
Yeah,
there you go.
Okay.
Zahny smile. BlueJays.com/broadcast auction, and the bidding is open on all the prizes until 10 minutes after the end of the 7th inning here tonight. All proceeds to the Jays Care Foundation.
How about the patience of the Blue Jays middle of the lineup hitters? Bautista walks. Morales. Kendrys Morales is not a free swinger. He is a hitter. And if you don't throw him the ball in the strike zone, he's not swinging. He's worked himself into a nice count here.
Can you imagine if these two teams were to ever meet in the playoffs, say this year were to meet in the playoffs, division series or ALCS, 2 deep lineups like this, what that kind of a series would be like?
Yeah, and it would all get down to just shortening up the bullpens and making sure everybody's ready to play, and I think both managers would kind of enjoy that. There'd be a good test to the best teams, good lineups, and lots of balance.
Bautista running and fouled off by Morales.
You know, Pineda came to the Yankees in 2014. He's got a 1-3 record, but the Yankees have lost 6 of his previous 8 starts that he's made against the Blue Jays. So they have fared well against Michael Pineda. And we mentioned at his first start, he lost to Tampa Bay. He Gave up 4 runs in his first outing of the season, and since then he's 6-1 with a 289 earned run average. He's pitched very well.
Command. He's had great command this year. Told you, almost a 6-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio.
Bautista going again. 3-2, hit through the hole into right, a base hit. Bautista will make the turn and come to third, as it looked like it could be a double play ball, but the infielder went over to cover second, and that opened up the hole.
That was curious that it was Chase Headley covering on the steal attempt as the Blue Jays start the runner. You've got 3 guys on the right side of the infield for a reason. You're saying he hits a lot of ground balls to the right side, but Chase Headley is the guy who's going to vacate his spot and open it up. That's a double play ball. If you're going to play 3 guys on the right side and they start the runner, why doesn't the shortstop cover?
So the Blue Jays maybe catch a break. Instead of a possible double play, it's first and third, nobody out for Justin Smoak, who hit a rocket out to right. Back in the first inning, his 13th home run on the season. Well hit left center. It will stay in the yard, though. The catch made by Hicks, and an easy tag and score for Bautista to make it 4-0.
You know, for so long, Justin Smoak would go to the plate and take a good pitch after a good pitch and find himself trailing in the count very quickly. But this season, when he's got a chance to drive in runs, he's up there locked and loaded. First thing he sees that's good to hit, especially a fastball, he's going to jump all over it. And he's able to cash in Bautista from third with the sac fly to center.
Justin Smoak's career high in homers is 20. That was with Seattle in 2013. His career high in RBIs is 59. That was with the Blue Jays 2 years ago. He looks like he might sail on past both of those numbers here this year.
The all-new 2017 CR-V. With revamped cargo space, it's the biggest fan yet. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Lots of business at Jay's Shop tonight here at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays increasing their lead. Now up 4-0. Justin Smoak's driven in 3 of the 4 runs. He's got 37 RBIs already. And here's Troy Tulowitzki, who grounded out his first time up. Morales at first with 1 down. Popped up into shallow center, and Castro's there for out number 2.
I'm going to go back to that pitch to Morales where Bautista took off for second. I think John Gibbons needs a lot of credit because Morales has grounded into 11 double plays this season. And by Bautista breaking from first, he took Chase Headley out of his defensive position. So you roll the dice considering that you're going to get a ground ball. Any kind of ground ball with the defense straight away is going to be a double play. But you see Headley has to go cover the bag with Bautista breaking, opens up a big hole. And that leads to a run when Jose goes first to third.
Devin Travis bounces 1 foul. Travis grounding out his first time up. Sounds like after the talk yesterday with Travis being out that just every now and again the Blue Jays just want to make sure that he's okay. Maybe give him a day here, give him a day there. He's had so many injuries in his young career. A couple of serious surgeries, most recently the knee surgeries. He shoots one into right. That's a base hit. Man, is he using the right side of the field well during this hot streak that he's been on.
Well, that's his bread and butter. Anything away is where he really hits the ball well. And they backed him off the plate a little bit during the month of May, and it's paid big dividends for him. Watch how he stays on this pitch, and it can be right on the outside corner, but he's got enough extension to drive it hard into right.
You mentioned that he was off the plate, and he's off the plate, but he can still reach that outside pitch. The way he strides, if you watch him take batting practice, he really stays on the ball and shoots a lot of balls to right field. Pitchers think they can get him out away. He still has plate coverage over there.
Ezekiel Carrera had a bunt single his first time up.
That's what I mean about plate coverage. He's off. The ball's away, but he can still get to it and hit it hard, hit it with authority. That's a great illustration of his swing, how he can just stride to the baseball, keep his hands through the strike zone.
Down and away, 2 balls, no strikes on Carrera, who homered last night, his 4th of the season, and it's been a frustrating night for Michael Pineda. You could see it in his body language at times between pitches. 4 runs, 6 hits for the Blue Jays already, couple of homers. This for a guy who's been rock solid his last 9 starts. And Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, is on the phone. Chopped to short, and a routine play for Gregorius to end the inning. The Jays, though, had a run, another RBI for Justin Smoke, and it's 4-0. Foundation of Broadcast Auction Night. Ivanka Osmak with an update from the WestJet flight deck.
Thank you so much, Dan. We've talked a lot about the big ticket items that you can pay thousands of dollars for tonight. Well, if you're looking to spend a little bit less, how about this beautiful necklace, 10-carat yellow gold all-stars necklace. I'm wearing it tonight. It's made exclusively by the right-hand gal for tonight. It's limited edition. You can get it online. There are numbers on your screen, but get it online, bluejays.com/broadcast auction. It is a nice addition to tonight's event, don't you think? I'm sporting mine. I hope I get to go home with it. Dan?
I'm sure you will, Ivanka. Thank you very much, and thanks to TD, the presenting sponsor of the broadcast auction tonight, and Acer, the technology sponsor, proud supporters of the Blue Jays and Jays Care Foundation. Big night for the foundation, and so far, big night for Justin Smoke and the Blue Jays, who are up 4-0 going to the top of the 4th. Smoke with a 2-run homer and a sacrifice fly, all in support of Francisco Liriano, as a couple of his rotation mates look on. Jay Happ on the right doing a lot of listening, Joe Biagini doing the talking, but that's how you would guess that relationship would go. Guy on the left talking, guy on the right listening. And again, Joe Biagini, he's part of the broadcast auction. The opportunity to go up to the top of the CN Tower with him.
So many things he can talk about. He can talk about his pitching. He can talk about his appearance on late night television. He can talk about what he did when he first got to Toronto, how he likes the city. Very interesting guy. So I think if you buy the outing with Joe Biagini, you should make a list of questions before you go.
Current bid we see there, $2,500. It's a private 45-minute meet and greet with Joe at the CN Tower. A premium tower experience for you and a guest, including access to the lookout, glass floor, and sky pod levels, refreshments at the 360 restaurant up at the top of the tower, and a professional photographer to capture the experience. Starlin Castro lifts a fly ball to left center. It'll be Pilar to make the catch. 1 down. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts, available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Was it one of you or both of you who did the skywalk?
Both of us.
Both of you.
Yeah.
So you're both insane.
Yes.
Both insane?
Yeah.
It was for a good cause.
Yes, I know. I'm not surprised you did it, Mr. Martinez. I'm a little surprised that you did it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
You're a grounded kind of guy. There they are up there.
Yeah.
How long were you out there for?
Too long.
Too long.
2 down.
Yeah. No, I was the leader. I was the first one out of the tower.
That is a lie. I was there. That's a lie.
Really?
He was not the leader?
He was
the leader. He's a thrill seeker, right? He's always been a thrill seeker.
He was the last one to hang over the edge like that.
Absolutely, I was.
Oh, he was first in line, but he was the last one to do that right there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how scared were you guys, in the moments leading up to doing
15,
12, easily.
Yeah.
Not the moments leading up to it.
Yeah. Knocked down by Donaldson. Gregorius retired. And how about a 3-up, 3-down inning for Francisco Liriano, needing only 6 pitches to take care of the Yankees.
Jays here in the bottom of the 4th, and we wanted to acknowledge that Luke hit a home run against the Cincinnati Reds on Wednesday. That was a game-tying home run in the 5th. And how about this picture? Ben and Luke Maley. This is outside Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, and Luke grew up with his brothers, a real Reds fan. And this picture is on a day in which Luke won a contest to take batting practice on the field just before the Reds did. And he told me that Barry Larkin recognized him and said, "Hey, kid, come over here. You want to use my bat?" And indeed, Luke hit a ground ball with Barry Larkin's bat, and on the AstroTurf, it rolled all the way to the fence. So from that day forward, Luke Maley told all of his friends, "I hit the fence at Riverfront Stadium with Barry Larkin's bat."
As a 10-year-old.
Yeah, that was awesome. He told me, too, that his brother Ben is a musician in Nashville now. He's doing a good job with that, so he's pretty proud of his brother's accomplishments as well.
4-0 Blue Jays, bottom of the 4th, after the Yankees won 12-2 last night. Maley fights it off and drops it into right center, a base hit. 7th hit already for the Blue Jays off Michael Pineda.
I don't know if he was using Barry Larkin's bat on that one, but that was a pretty good looking swing fighting off that fastball.
You know, Luke has done such a good job catching that it's very nice to have an asset like him filling in for Russell Martin. You can see he got jammed. He's a big, strong guy. He's hit 2 home runs already, but he just hasn't had the success as a consistent hitter. But the ability he has behind the plate has freed up Russell Martin. So he, when he needs a day, can take a day and knows that the pitchers are in good hands.
Back to the top of the order in Kevin Pillar. Pillar, a ground out and a base hit. 2 now on Pilar. Runner at first, nobody out. Carter holding on Maley at first, although he'll pop off the bag as the pitch comes to the plate. But a pretty good hole on the right side for Pilar. Center field, Hicks coming on, sliding catch. Another ball hit on the screws, but right at somebody as we check in again with Ivanka.
It is never too early to start thinking about next spring. Yes, there is a spring training getaway. You get round trip airfare to Tampa Bay, 3 nights accommodation, and then you get to go to 2 of the 2018 Blue Jays spring training home games. Also, get a backstage pass and see what's happening behind the scenes at the training facility for the Jays and personalized Jays jerseys. Right now, well, it's going for a bargain, $3,500. I have a feeling it's not going to stay that low, though.
I tell you what, Ivanka, if it stays there, let me know. That is a bargain.
Airfare, accommodations, tickets to the Blue Jays, and spring training.
Spring training.
The best.
It's the best.
to meet and greet guys.
Yeah, it's the most relaxed time of the season. Of course, the ballpark there at Ford Auto Exchange Stadium, very, very small, compact stadium in a nice neighborhood. You can go downtown Dunedin, walk around the main street, have a nice dinner after a ball game. It's awesome.
Fan friendly too, to meet the ball players, hang out there, and watch a great ball game.
Donaldson 1 for 2, homered in the first. And Pineda misses just off the outside corner. Blue Jays out hitting the Yankees 7-2. Each team's left 4 men on. The Yankees have had their chances, but they're 0 for 7 tonight with runners in scoring position, whereas the Blue Jays have a couple of big home runs and a timely sac fly from Justin Smoke. Fouled off.
Trying something a little different now against Josh Donaldson. It looked like a little two-seamer there. He's thrown a couple of them. Something inside, sinking inside. Remember, the home run he hit was a hanging cement mixer slider. It didn't move. It just stayed right there for him.
See, Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach, was talking about the slider wasn't very good, and he said he has to throw that fastball because his slider's not as good as it has been.
When it's good, it's a wipeout slider. See if they go to it here. They do, but down and away. 2-2.
Yeah, after a pitcher's been burned with a particular pitch, his mind is not really freed up to really throw it totally effectively. You're tentative and you get out there, and oftentimes you overcook it and bounce it down and away. It really becomes an ineffective pitch.
You see that a lot, these pitchers against some of the Blue Jay power hitters, just trying to be too perfect, or they know they're going to get burned.
Sanchez saying, settle down. You got this. Pineda known for his very good command. You guys were saying only 12 walks all season coming into the game tonight against 66 strikeouts.
But he's had his problems with the Blue Jays. Yep. We mentioned the Yankees have lost 6 of his 8 previous starts against the Jays since he joined New York.
He's got a losing record. The Yankees do in his starts.
Full count on Donaldson with Maley at first and 1 out. Runner is going and bounced foul.
I think they're starting the runner because they know he's around the plate a lot. There's 12 walks coming into this game. John Gibbons rolling the dice and being very aggressive with his base runners tonight. It's paid off for him.
Let's see if they do it again. There he goes. Off the end of the bat, a high fly ball into center field. Or out number 2.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by the Samsung QLED, the next innovation in TV.
Bottom of the fourth, and the Blue Jays enjoying a 4-0 lead over the Yankees on an absolutely perfect night for a ball game. 2 down. Runner at first, and the batter Jose Bautista, fly ball to center, and has walked and scored. See that on base percentage, .359, as he continues to draw his walks. Base hit through the right side. Maile avoids the ball and charges around to third. Jose didn't hit it hard, but he hit it in the right spot.
Looked at some of his stats, and 21% of the balls that he hits have gone in play to right field. That's a slider that he's looking to try and pull, but he hits it off the end of the bat. There's a gigantic hole on the right side. Softly into right field, and that allowed Maile to go to third base. They want him to pull the ball. That's where his power is, but he'll hit it over there every now and then. That one by mistake.
So runners on the corners, 2 down. Bullpen still quiet for the Yankees. Blue Jays up 4-0, and the batter Kendrys Morales, who has walked and singled. This one's going to get away from Sanchez, and a run will come in to score. Wild pitch makes it 5-0.
That's going to bring Larry Rothschild back out. Jose Bautista bluffed at first base. I don't know if that had anything to do with the pitch being wild or Sanchez not having a chance to block it. But Jose bluffed just briefly, and now he can jog down to second base as this changeup is in the dirt. Sanchez can't block it. The Blue Jays are going to get a run.
Ball in the dirt that Sanchez never really got squared up on, and Maile, who went first to third on Bautista's opposite field hit, was able to score easily. Adrian Johnson, the umpire, talking to Sanchez. I'm not sure what that's all about. But now Blue Jays have another runner in scoring position.
That's Bautista with 2 down, and Morales the batter, and the count 1-0.
Got to take advantage of all of these opportunities against a team like the Yankees.
Swing and a miss, 1-1. Larry Rothschild's gotten his steps in tonight, going back and forth to the mound on a number of occasions, and it looks like just now there will be some activity beginning in the bullpen for the Yankees. Chop weakly towards first, and that'll be the inning. But another run for the Blue Jays gives them a 5-0 lead at the end of 4. Time now for an update. Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Jays belong to the entire country. A limited edition Peace Collective t-shirt, Home is Canada. You can get it only tonight. It's only available online, $50. It's part of the auction. Of course, the entire auction. Lots of great items, unique stuff you can bid on, and it all closes 10 minutes after the last out in the 7th inning. Dan?
All right, Ivanka, thank you. So many good things in all price ranges up for auction, up for bid, up for purchase tonight as part of the Sportsnet Jays Care Foundation auction presented by TD. We go top 5, and it is 5-0 for the Blue Jays. As Liriano misses just low ball one to Chase Headley, the Yankee third baseman.
Something that's getting lost in all this, because the Blue Jays have scored 5 runs, is how well Liriano has pitched and how efficiently has been through 4 innings. He's got the breaking ball in there for strikes. He's throwing a good sinking fastball bottom of the zone. His changeup has been on the money. This is a real pleasant return for Liriano to this rotation.
A little bit of a hiccup in the 3rd inning with a couple of walks, but then he got that ground ball, and the Blue Jays turned a nifty double play to finish off that 3rd inning.
Well, he was able to pitch around a 3-base error to start the game. He stranded Gardner at 3rd base, and then the 1-out double by Hicks in the 2nd. He stranded him there, and then a double play ended the 3rd.
A little bit up and away, 2 balls, 2 strikes to count on Headley, who will be followed by Chris Carter and then leadoff hitter Brett Gardner.
When he is on, all 3 of his pitches are working. Right there, that's a good slider right there. Slider's been a little inconsistent tonight. That'll be his 3rd strikeout. But when his fastball, changeup, and slider are working, he can be unhittable. Slider grip, pull it down, catch the outside corner. Headley swings through it.
3rd strikeout of the night for Liriano. Here's Carter, who doubled his first time up. Swing and a miss at that changeup there, and it's 0-1. 5 runs, 8 hits, and an error for the Blue Jays. No runs, 2 hits, and an error for the Yankees. The Blue Jays have left 5, the Yankees 4. And this is where the work done by Leonel Campos last night, who got sent back down tonight, unfortunately for him, to get Liriano back on the roster. But allowing the Blue Jays, as badly as last night went, allowing the Blue Jays to save some of their key relievers, because it is first time off the DL for Liriano. He's on a pitch count. You're going to need some bullpen guys to try to get this one home.
75 pitches in his outing versus Charlotte on his rehab outing. So he can do 90. All indications are 90, and maybe that'll get him 6 innings. He's got to have a quick one this inning.
Brett Gardner waiting on deck. Full count on Carter. Got him.
Buy 6 cans of Beauty Tone paint and get the 7th free. Available exclusively at Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Beauty Tone, Canada's color experts.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Francisco Liriano here in the 5th inning. As the Blue Jays enjoy a 5-0 lead on a beautiful night here in Toronto. And here's Gardner, who's reached on an error and walked. Liriano's command has really been locked back in ever since he walked a couple back in the 3rd.
From up here, you can see the break on his slider, and it's been a good one. He's throwing some good ones tonight. That last one to Gardner was unhittable. There's another one, same spot. You know, it's the angle with which that ball is coming into a left-handed batter from Liriano. He stands on the first base side of the pitching rubber, sweeps that thing to the outside part of the plate, almost unhittable.
0-2. It's a curveball there.
That was different. Yeah, we haven't seen that very often from him. Just a much slower breaking ball, but you could see he slowed down his whole delivery, and it really wasn't very effective.
Strikes out the side. A lot of Yankee batters making their way back to the dugout, shaking their heads with the job that Francisco Liriano has done tonight. Coming off the DL, and he's got 5 shutout innings in the books.
Your cave, man or woman cave, whatever you've got. This is part of the Major League memorabilia package. You've got a signed jersey, signed bat, some cleats there as well, and an autographed ball. So lots of good stuff in the Major League memorabilia package. Currently, it's going for $2,800, so it's still a very good deal. I think this would look fantastic on someone's wall. What do you think, Dan?
Absolutely. Anybody in particular you're thinking of? Yourself, maybe? Or maybe one of us here in the booth? Somebody's going to get it. One of the many, many great prizes, whether it's getaways, bucket list experiences, memorabilia, so many different things. Up for bid tonight at the broadcast auction for Jays Care. And on the field, things going just as well. 5-0. The Blue Jays lead the Yankees, going bottom 5. And here's Justin Smoke, who's had a big night, a 2-run homer and a sac fly. Little looper, could be trouble, gonna drop. And Smoke aboard with a bloop single.
That ball was over Gregorius' head, and he went as hard as he could till he recognized he couldn't make a play. Watch how the shortstop reacts here. He's going to go back. He stays as hard as he can. And then he says, I can't get it. So he pulls out of the way just in case Brett Gardner might have had a shot at it. But Smoke's hot. He starts dumping these things for base hits. He's going to be looking at 300 soon.
You know, it's still, what, 6 weeks away? But every team gets an all-star. Does Justin Smoke have a chance to be a Blue Jay all-star this year?
Absolutely. 13 home runs. He's got 37 RBIs. And he's playing terrific defense at first.
Troy Tulowitzki has grounded out and popped up. Blue Jays with the leadoff man on for the 3rd consecutive inning against Michael Pineda. Base hit into left field. Up to second goes Smoke.
I'll tell you how it's gone tonight for the Blue Jays. Michael Pineda came into this ball game in the top 10 in the American League in strikeouts. He doesn't have one yet tonight. That's how the Blue Jays have been seeing the ball against him. That's their 10th hit already.
He hasn't had real good command. That's a sinking fastball, but he hasn't had a good slider. I think he got shaken off his slider when Donaldson hit the slider out of the ballpark in the first inning, and it hasn't been good since. He threw him a hanging slider, and then he's been very tentative with it for the rest of the ball game. He gave up 2 home runs in the first, and we haven't seen his good slider all night.
Like he's almost trying to guide it to the outside part of the plate instead of throwing it there.
Devin Travis up with 2 men on and nobody out. There's the slider, but it's in the dirt, ball 1, and Holder is up for the 2nd inning in a row. There's been trouble in every inning for Michael Pineda. 2 homers, 3 runs in the first, couple of hits in the second, 2 hits, a walk, and a run in the third, 2 hits, a wild pitch, and a run in the fourth. And now the first 2 men on here in the 5th. Down to third. Could be 2. And it is.
The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Get there fast, leave even faster.
Here at Rogers Center, the Blue Jays leading 5-0 over the Yankees. Bottom of the 5th. Great crowd, over 40,000. Jays Care broadcast auction night presented by TD. And the Blue Jays swinging the bats well and getting a terrific performance from Francisco Liriano, who's just come off the DL tonight. Ezekiel Carrera is the batter. He's 1 for 2. Had a bunt hit back in the second. Yankees are in on the corners as Carrera takes a pitch over the outside edge for a called strike. Always wary of him potentially trying to bunt for a base hit. The ball that he hit out last night, it was kind of lost in everything else that happened because the Blue Jays were beaten so soundly, but he hit that ball a ton to right field, the home run that he hit into the second deck.
His 4th home run, and just kind of slough it off when you're getting beat 12-1. He hit it. That was the 2nd run Blue Jays got.
Tell you what, I'm not sloughing that off. That is a thing of beauty right there. Little sinker that doesn't sink. If I'm hitting that, I'm feeling pretty good about myself off the second deck. In right field, but you're right. You know, 12-1 game. Nobody really cares, right? They're like, except Zeke.
His 4th on the season. Good pitch by Pineda to even it up at 2-2. Smoke at third, 2 down. Good take, and it's a full count.
You can see how Pineda has just shied away from his slider totally. He's just trying to locate that fastball down. He hasn't had a good slider. It's been a rough outing for him tonight after he has pitched very well of late. Yankees had won 8 of his previous 9 starts.
His streak of 3 earned runs or less is going to be snapped tonight by the Blue Jays. They put up 5 runs against him.
Well, he sure doesn't look comfortable out there, does he? The way he's walking around and grimacing and shaking that arm out. And
9 straight starts where he gave up 3 earned runs or less.
Outside, ball 4. Mulder continues to throw in the pen. We'll see what Joe Girardi decides to do. Gary Sanchez looking into the dugout, but that's for instructions on how they'll play this if Carrera breaks for second. So Pineda will stay to face Luke Maile. Looks like he's going through Jose Bautista's calisthenics routine out there on the mound at times tonight. Not quite as limber as Jose is. Here's Maley.
That's a pretty good slider right there. First pitch strike.
Maley has popped up and singled and scored. And the 0-1. The breaking ball, swing and a miss, 0-2.
Pineda's 10 hits surrender, the most he's given up this season. Most runs he's allowed this season. 5 as well. Just one of those off nights for Pineda, and he got sideways in the first inning when he gave up 2 home runs and 3 runs. Donaldson with a solo shot, Smoke with a 2-run homer.
Hot shot foul past Smoke down the line.
Still hasn't struck out a batter tonight.
First time all season.
His season high is 11. He did that in his second start of the season against Tampa Bay. He's taken a lot of time in between pitches too. Suggests maybe something's not right physically.
As long as he's got it in his hand, nothing bad can happen.
0-2 the count on Maley. Runner goes, swing and a miss, and that'll end the inning. So the Blue Jays will leave a couple of men on. We'll go to the top of the 6th with the Blue Jays leading 5-0. Here comes the Thunder. Gary Sanchez to lead it off, and Aaron Judge behind him. Of the present and maybe an even bigger part of the future for the New York Yankees. They'll lead it off here in the 6th with the Blue Jays up 5-0. If you project the numbers that Judge and Sanchez have had in their very brief major league careers out to 162 games, look at this. One of them with 45 homers, one of them with 51, and both of them with an OPS well over 900.
They're both very powerful, and of course the dramatic improvement for Judge has really put him in another class. Last year he struck out half the times he came to the plate. And Gary Sanchez, for his career, has 26 career home runs. And it's a high pace they have set for themselves. But Sanchez 2 home runs last night. There have only been 4 other players to hit 25 home runs in 300 or fewer at-bats in the history of the game. Sanchez has joined Rudy York, Mark McGwire, Jose Abreu, and Wally Berger in the 1930s. But that's a pretty elite class of great power early in your career.
2 home runs last night, a ground out, and a sizzling line out tonight. And he bangs one into center field, a base hit. And with Liriano just coming off the DL, being on a pitch count 80 to 90s at 79 now, and Danny Barnes is up in what really has become his inning in an ideal situation, the 6th inning.
Barnes hasn't pitched since Tuesday. He threw 39 pitches in 2 innings on Tuesday, so he is well rested. He gave up a home run to Zach Cozart in that outing, but he has been a very consistent relief pitcher for John Gibbons, and he has been the guy that he goes to in the 6th and 7th innings on a regular basis.
There's Aaron Judge. Judge tonight, a strikeout and a walk.
You know, you talk about Sanchez and Judge. I saw Aaron around the batting cage during his time, and every time he would take his round of hitting, in between he would go behind the batting cage, sign autographs, and take pictures.
It's amazing. High and deep to right field, his major league leading 18th home run of the season. Finds the second deck in right.
With all of the home runs that he is hitting, I got curious and I said, well, how many did he hit in the minor leagues? He had 56, and he's on pace to hit 50 in the big leagues his first season. He had 56 home runs while he was a minor leaguer for the Yankees, so it's the power that's starting to come around for him. John Gibbons is out, and I'm sure that's going to be it for Liriano. But for Judge, he finishes his swing. He's so massive and so powerful. That is opposite field in the second deck.
A very nice ovation for Francisco Liriano, the Judge home run notwithstanding. A terrific performance as he comes off the DL and leads with a 5-2 lead. Rookie of the month both months this year in the American League, and just hit his major league leading 18th.
Slider that stayed out over the plate. Watch the extension and then the finish. How he doesn't jump out there. He lets the ball come to him and then he finishes his swing. It was a missile to right field.
Well, it's certainly a very good return for Liriano. He pitches 5+2 batters, and he'll turn it over to Danny Barnes. As we mentioned, Barnes has not pitched since Tuesday, so he's had ample rest. But how about the ability of Aaron Judge to go up there knowing he doesn't have to hit the ball in any particular part of the ballpark to hit it out? I mean, that's got to give you a tremendous sense of calm, knowing I can hit a ball down the right field line, I can hit a ball down the left field line, wherever the pitch is, I can hit it out of any ballpark in baseball.
That's his 5th home run to right field. He's got 6 to left, 7 to center, and now 5 to right field this season.
And fans have taken notice. Only Mike Trout, who's now injured, has gotten more all-star votes in the American League than Aaron Judge. And yeah, there are a lot of Yankee fans, obviously, but that's not just Yankee fans.
You know what? It reminded me during batting practice of the first time we saw Canseco and McGuire at Exhibition Stadium the fans were out here to watch BP, and they were out here to watch Aaron Judge hit BP. And I'm telling you, he hit them all over, up in the WestJet flight deck, up in the 500 level, up against the Citizen sign and left by the clock. Literally places I have never seen balls hit before. He was hitting them all afternoon.
So how much do you need to see before you guys say this is Aaron Judge, or will adjustments be made? And so forth?
There's going to be adjustments. He's going to have some learning, and there's going to be the league adjusting to him. He's going to counteract that adjustment, but he's got some skills. He's not just a power hitter. He has tightened up his approach. He doesn't swing bad pitches. He's a good listener, and he's got some of the best veterans around him in Matt Holliday and Chase Headley and some of the guys that he's worked closely with, but he's in pretty good hands there. Yankees have a terrific coaching staff.
Yes, in a great mix of veterans and young players. Pitchers will look for ways to get him out. They'll try experiment, and nothing's a secret anymore. Everybody knows everything. So maybe you start pitching them in, maybe you start pitching them up.
3-2, and Barnes walks Holliday.
Francisco Liriano, 5 innings plus 2 batters on his 81 pitches. He has done now just 4 hits. Those 2 runs, the 2-run home runs, the only runs he gave up today. Pretty good slider, pretty good changeup. His command was good, just a couple of walks. That hiccup he had in the 3rd inning. Good comeback for him off the disabled list.
The batter Starlin Castro 0 for 2. Fly ball to right field, well hit. Bautista back over his head and gone. A 2-run homer for Castro. And just like that, the Yankees are back within a run.
You know, that's why we were saying last inning that anytime you have a chance to cash in some runs, you have to take advantage of it against the Yankees, because they've got power up and down that lineup. They're never out of any ball game. Single home run, walk home run, and just like that, 4 quick runs thrown up on the board. Tries to slip a fastball by Starlin Castro. He came into this game 319. 319. This is home run number 8 for Castro.
So the Yankees strike quickly here in the 6th. 5-4 the scores. Aaron Hicks looks at a strike. Hicks a double and a ground out tonight. 5 for 7 in the series. Good change up there. Activity in the pen. Aaron Loop getting up and getting serious in a hurry. Left-hand hitting Didi Gregorius is on deck. Hicks up to 320 now with a 1 for 2 night. And man, has the atmosphere changed in the ballpark in the last 10 minutes or so, with the Yankees hitting a couple of homers. Righted Bautista, and there's the first out.
Well, anytime you go through the middle of an order, any of these teams in the East, you got a chance to give up some crooked numbers. And Sanchez hitting in the 2 spot is a stroke of genius in my mind for Joe Girardi's Yankees. He's a very good fastball hitter. He's got good discipline, so he starts it by taking the single up the middle, and Judge goes deep. Holliday, the experienced veteran in this lineup, he takes a walk, not trying to do too much, knowing he's just got to get on base in that at bat. And he sets the table for the Castro 2-run homer.
It's a Yankee team that can score some runs. They've hit double digits 9 times this season. So they're never out of any game. I don't care what the score is.
There's a shot off the bat of Gregorius into right field, a base hit. Tying run aboard as we check in again with Ivanka.
Thanks so much, Dan. One of the big auction items that you can get is getting out of town to the Windy City. How about spending a couple nights in Chicago? Airfare and hotel are included, and then going to Wrigley Field to see the Jays take on the Cubs, also going behind the scenes of the historic field. Pretty cool deal seeing the defending World Series champ take on your Toronto Blue Jays, and it's been a while. It's a rare trip actually to Wrigley for the Jays. Is that right, Dan?
2005. Mr. Martinez very handy with the information on his laptop, telling me that the last time the Blue Jays played at Wrigley. This is definitely bucket list stuff.
Oh, absolutely. And they've done such a great job with that ballpark. They have enhanced the experience for the fans, for the players. They're going to get around to the broadcast booths one of these years.
You don't like climbing steps? Or,
Takes me an inning to get my breath.
Yeah, you get your exercise in at Wrigley. Here's Chase Headley. Change up, down and away, ball one. So Judge with a homer, Castro with a homer. All of a sudden 5-4 Blue Jays. Liriano 5+ innings, gives up 2 runs on 4 hits. And opposite field power for both Judge and Castro.
Well, Castro hits in that group. Aaron Judge, Chris Carter, Castro, and Matt Holliday. So if you can't pick up something while you're hitting in the batting practice group with those 4 guys, you're not paying attention.
He's the little guy.
Yeah, he's the little guy, and he goes opposite field.
And he's not that little. I mean, he's little compared to the other guys, but you walk by him and you don't think second baseman.
Yeah, he reminds you of an Andrew Jones type body, big, strong guy.
I don't know that I've ever been around a team with as many big players as the New York Yankees have. Fly ball to left field. Drifting back on it is Carrera to make the catch. For out number 2. You walk into the Yankee clubhouse and you see Judge 6'7", 280. Betances is 6'8". CeCe's 6'7", 300. Matt Holliday's like 6'4", 240. He looks like a 2-guard on that team compared to everybody else. Mike Harkey, who's the bullpen coach, used to pitch. He's 6'8". Chris Carter's a big guy. And then Aroldis Chapman turns the corner and you say, man, he's big too. Yeah, they're all big.
Yeah. The athletes in general are bigger, no matter what sport it is. But this Yankee team is a big team for baseball.
I think you have the wrong sport. It's not basketball.
It's football.
It's football.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They're big.
Yeah.
But that's what they do. They like pitchers who are tall pitchers with long arms, create that great downward movement off the mound.
Well, Jordan Montgomery, who the Blue Jays will see tomorrow, he's 6'5". There's Mike Harkey. Like if you bumped into Betances, he wouldn't even feel it.
I saw him a couple of years ago for the first time down on the field. Think LeBron James. All right. Have you ever seen LeBron James?
Yeah.
Well,
LeBron's 6'8", 260. That's about what Betances is. You're right. Yep.
Same thing.
CeCe 6'7". Boy, he pitched a good game last night. 2-0 and a swing and a high fly ball to right field. Coming in Bautista. And that's the inning. So Barnes eventually gets out of it, but the Yankees hit a couple of homers and score 4, and they're back in it.
Chairs in the TD Comfort Zone are guests from one of TD's community partners. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the ball game. And don't forget, Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final goes tomorrow night. It's the Penguins and Predators, 7:30 Eastern, 4:40 Pacific time on CBC and Sportsnet. And speaking of the NHL, there's Tyler Seguin of the Dallas Stars taking in tonight's ball game. Hope he enjoys it. Blue Jays on top 5-4 so far. Dan.
Good find there, guys. And as we mentioned last night, was a PK Subban said it was guaranteed win night tomorrow night for the Preds. So we'll see how that turns out. 4 in the top half of the 6th for the Yankees. It's suddenly a 1-run game as the Blue Jays come up here in the bottom half of the inning. And the new pitcher for the Yankees, right-hander Jonathan Holder.
Holder's 23 years old. He was a 6th-round draft pick out of Mississippi State by the Yankees. Pitched in 8 games last year. This is his 24th game of the season this year. They've got some young guys coming up through their system, and the Yankees are going to be good for a while.
Curveball headed to shallow left field to Gardner there, and Kevin Pillar is retired.
That's his best pitch. His fastball, curveball. He'll get a lot of strikeouts with that good overhand tight curveball.
Even with Aroldis Chapman on the DL and everybody having to slide up a spot on the depth chart, they've still got a good bullpen. Josh Donaldson, the batter, 1 for 3, hit a home run back in the 1st inning to get the Blue Jays off and running.
You know, you talk about Holder being 23, and of course you have Sanchez and Aaron Judge, 2 young position players. Didi Gregorius and Starling Castro only 27. And then they've got some guys in AAA that are on the threshold of coming to the major leagues. And I asked CC Sabathia about it today. I said, what do these young kids do for your team? He said, they bring energy every single day. They really energize our clubhouse, and no matter how we're doing, they come in here with so much enthusiasm. It boosts everybody's energy. And CC's been around a long time. He said, we got a good bunch of kids, and we got some veteran players, but those kids really remind us how much fun it is to play the game.
And there's more coming for the Yankees. A lot more.
Yep. Donaldson drives it deep left field. 2nd home run of the night.
Well, he goes back to that bread and butter pitch of his, that overhand curveball. And Josh, you can see his timing start to come around, waiting on that curveball, and he gets it. And he does some damage with it. What a good sign for the Blue Jays to see him swinging the bat with authority like that.
Yeah, when you hit a curveball like that, that timing is really locked in. He's able to separate his hands, and his foot gets down in plenty of time. It really wasn't in a bad spot, but Josh's hands were so good. And he's able to stay back on the ball. You see the spin of this ball, takes it down. But look at Donaldson. He goes down and gets it. Head stays down on it. And he's got that high finish with his bat to really get the carry on the baseball. And that brings a smile to his face.
You know who's going to have a smile on his face, too, is his hitting coach, Brooke Jacoby. Brooke was telling me that when he finishes high like that, that's where he gets a lot of his power and extra base pop. Go down, get it, drive it out of here. He's got such strong hands. And the ball just explodes off of his bat.
He's got 5 home runs now in 53 at-bats on the season.
Now, once he gets it going, he's a hard guy to cool off. And so much of his swing is all about timing and rhythm because he's got so many moving parts to his approach. But if he gets hot, look out. And he's starting to look like he's warming up. That's a big run to answer that 4th spot of the Yankees in the top half of the inning. For the Yankees, they were hopeful of getting a shutdown inning to keep the momentum on their side of the diamond, but Donaldson stopped that.
11th career multi-home run game for Josh Donaldson. Didn't go. So 3 home runs on the night for the Blue Jays, 2 by Donaldson, 1 by Smoke, and a 6-4 lead. Bautista got a piece of it.
Another breaking ball. He's going to go to his breaking ball a lot. Even though he got one taken deep, he's still going to go to it. That's the type of pitcher he is.
Fastball popped up on the infield. And Carter will make the catch for the second out as again we send it back to Ivanka.
Time is running out for tonight's auction. Don't forget it closes 10 minutes after the last out in the 7th inning. And also, well, we're running out of fan packs. For $125, you can get one of the Jays fan packs that includes all sorts of Jays memorabilia, and there are only 200 left. So call the number on your screen or go online, bluejays.com/broadcast auction. Dan?
All right, Ivanka, thank you. An autographed baseball in every one of those fan packs. Some great prizes and some great things to bid on at the Jays Care Foundation auction presented by TD. 9th annual auction. And all kinds of great things being auctioned off tonight. I just don't know why Ivanka's not giving Carolyn Cameron any airtime. She's out there working the phones. Ivanka's getting all the glory. Carolyn's working the phones in the background. They never show her. She never talks about her.
Spring training getaway, $6,500, and that's worth just going to the ballpark down there. But as an airfare, accommodations, 2 ball games in spring training.
Hey, Carolyn.
I'm not talking to anyone. Is that what she just said?
Somebody call Carolyn and bid on something, please, before it's too late. We've only got another inning where this is live. See the numbers at the bottom of your screen.
Not many people on the phones. Not many people talking on the phones. Let's make those phones ring, folks.
Swing and a miss by Morales to end the inning. But Josh Donaldson does it again. His 2nd home run of the night. Went after that low curveball, hit it out to left, and the Blue Jays lead is 6-4.
some love and some attention, airtime to the hardworking ladies and all the guys behind the scenes like Carol and Cameron who are answering phone calls tonight at the auction. Dan said I was hogging all the glory and wasn't giving you any TV love. So are you happy you're on TV, and are you actually answering calls?
Ivanka, I'm just here trying to do a job and take some calls. So if I could please get back to work.
Let's be honest, you're not talking to anyone tonight, have you?
Yeah, I've had a few calls.
Her phone is blowing up. Dan.
All right, thank you. Get back to work, Carol. One more inning. Broadcast auction presented by TD for Jays Care. Open for one more inning, then 10 minutes after the end of the 7th inning. Got some great prizes. We like where this is going, but we can always do a little bit better. So get on the phones. Aaron Loop in to face Brett Gardner to open up the 7th.
This is how John Gibbons has used him over his last couple of starts. Situational lefties. You got some right-handers, some big right-handers coming up. Sanchez, Judge, and Holiday. We'll probably see Aaron just for this one batter. Brett Gardner.
Nope, did a terrific job on Wednesday coming in to close out the 7th inning with a couple aboard. Struck out 2 left-handed hitters. Scott Schebler and Scooter Gennett. The only 2 batters he faced.
He's changed his breaking ball a little bit this year. He used to have that sweeping curveball that he felt like batters could pick up a little easier. Now he's thinking cutter, and it's more of a slider, a little tighter spinning breaking ball.
Slashed foul by Gardner, 1-2. Sanchez and Judge next, and they started off the 6th inning. Sanchez with a base hit, Judge with a home run.
Alan Cockrell's the hitting coach, and Aaron Judge just checking in with him to see what he might be dealing with this next at bat.
Got him. Breaking ball down and away, and Gardner flails at it. And John Gibbons is already out of the dugout and has already made the signal to the pen for Ryan Tepera.
Right on cue. That's how he has used him the last couple of times, and he gets a hot hitter in Brett Gardner.
So Luke faces one batter, does his job, and here comes Tepera in to face Sanchez and Judge. Aaron Loop strikes out Brett Gardner. John Gibbons turns it over to right-hander Ryan Tepera.
Tepera pitched in last night's game. He came in to finish up that 9th inning. Gave up a hit, got a couple of outs. Now he's facing the meat of the order right here. He has brought in a little bit more power on that mound against Sanchez and Judge. He's had a great slider this year. That might be the call against these hard right-handed batters, that hard slider.
I think what he needs to do is throw strike 1. Gets ahead of these guys and puts the pressure on them. I haven't seen an awful lot of them. Sanchez is 0 for 2. Judge has never faced Tepera.
Sanchez 1 for 3, singled and scored on the Judge homer last inning. Shift on 3 on the left side of second base. And there's strike 1. Smoke by himself on the right side. Travis just to the left of second base. Outfielders playing slightly to pull as well. Boy, that's a good one right there, isn't it?
Got ahead with the fastball, threw him the slider. Blue Jays have changed their defense up on Sanchez. Travis wasn't up the middle last time Sanchez hit, and Yankee catcher got a base hit into center field. That started that 4-run inning. Ryan's really gained a lot of confidence this year, and it all began in an outing out in Anaheim when he had to throw 3 innings in an extra inning game. And I think just because he was facing a lot more hitters in a particular outing, he recognized that his stuff played against a lot of different kinds of hitters, and that gave him a lot of confidence. He backed that up with another 3 1/3 inning outing, and something he hadn't done in the past. But I think just being able to see so many different hitters in a particular game and recognizing, hey, they can't hit me, I think that served him very well.
Said he got a lot of confidence using his 4-seam fastball for strike 1 and putting it in a good spot. 2-seamers like right in on the hands of batters like Trout and Pujols when they were out in Anaheim.
Got him. Slider down and away, strikes out Sanchez, 2 down.
Strike 2 to Sanchez was a slider on the plate. And after he swung and missed it, he asked the umpire, was that a strike? And he said yes. Luke Maile recognized that and went just a little bit further outside with that slider. So with 2 strikes, I'm going to expand, and Carrera hits his glove.
Here's Judge. And you could see Maile wanted slider, then he wanted fastball away, and Carrera shook him off to a fastball in, although he missed a spot and actually wound up throwing it away.
Same sequence they used against Sanchez, the previous hitter.
Want to come in on him again. Don't want to let the big fella get those arms extended.
Well, what they've done all night long outside of that home run he hit, they've kept the ball down pretty effectively. And especially with Ryan and that movement he has on his 2-seamer. He can establish down with the 2-seamer and the slider, and if they get to 2 strikes, then he can elevate his 4-seam fastball.
Well, he knows what Carrera wants right now. Fastball in, coming again.
This is an intimidating visual for a pitcher. You stand out there and you say, okay, look at this big guy up there. Where can I get him out? Threw it too hard.
Well, you think you can get him in. You think you can get him away. This is a slider that's away, and he puts that ball to right field just as easy to left field. A long way to right field. I would just try and pound him in so he can't extend. He's got plate coverage with those long arms.
And here's where the Donaldson home run makes such a difference. Even if Judge gets into one, knocks it out of the ballpark, Blue Jays still have a lead.
That's why you have to be aggressive against Judge. You got to go after him and finish this inning right here. He walked in the 3rd inning, but go after him. No one has ever hit a 2-run home run with anybody on it.
Full count pitch on the way. And Carrera shaking off Maile time and time again, and now Judge asks for time.
Go out and talk to him, Luke. This is the time you go to the mound and say, hey, if there's some indecision here, we better settle it.
He showed him everything he had. I think Carrera was just deking him.
Foul ball off the foot of Judge, and we'll do it all over again.
Now he's going to go talk to him.
Immediately called by home plate umpire Adrian Johnson. So another 3-2 pitch coming to Aaron Judge, the major league leader in home runs with 18. Ryan Tepera is so valuable and dependable out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays this year. 3-2, just low for ball 4.
Looked like a pretty good pitch. He threw that two-seamer right at the bottom of the zone. He didn't get to call, but he went after him.
Now he's got to deal with another dangerous hitter, and Matt Holliday will come up as the potential tying run. You can see Pilar way out in the background there, way over to right center field. The power alley in the outfield for Holliday is right center. Big gap in left center, but a lot of room down the left field line. Chase the slider.
He was hunting fastball first pitch. Was guessing fastball, and Tepera crossed him up, threw him a slider.
Holliday's only had one at bat against Tepera, so again, it's important not to give Holliday a bunch of pitches to gather information with. Be aggressive. Go after him.
Slider again. 0-2.
In a good spot. You see him check with the umpire. They ask him if that's a strike.
So slider down and away, or try to move him off the plate with a fastball.
He hasn't thrown a four-seam fastball in this inning, so this is a time where he could use it. Because Holliday now is going to cut his throat down with 2 strikes. Going right back to the slider.
Judge at first, 2 down. Holliday the tying run. And that time Holliday recognizes it and lays off.
Now he's seen the slider on all 3 of these pitches, and everything he sees is down and away. Got to change his sight lines.
Fastball up.
That's what Pete Walker and John Gibbons are probably thinking about right now. Maybe a fastball up. The four-seamer. Gonna go back to it.
Center field and deep. Pilar back. Jumps, and it's over his head. Judge is going to come in to score on a double by Holliday, and again the Yankees are within a run.
Good RBI guys hit breaking balls in the strike zone. In RBI situations, he had 2 strikes on him. He threw nothing but sliders in this at bat, and Holliday stays on it. Pilar knew his power is in the alley in right center, but it hits over his glove off the wall. Matt Holliday has always been an RBI guy.
Showed him that slider one too many times, 4 in a row, and good hitters, they're going to pick that up eventually and have a good idea what you're going to throw him. Pilar can't get back and haul that one in as it short hops the wall. And 2 outs and a 2-out walk. Yankees cash him in.
It's a pair of frustrated. Got to turn the page here. He's got another very dangerous hitter coming up, Starlin Castro.
Well, Tepera threw a pretty good pitch, 3-2 to Aaron Judge. It looked like it could have been called the strike, but he didn't get the call. And then he just threw Matt Holliday too many pitches in the same zone. And Holliday's been doing it for years, and he cashes in once again.
Castro having his best offensive season so far, a couple of months into the season. He's hitting .319. Got 8 home runs, 30 RBIs already. He's hit cleanup a lot this year. as he takes a slider for his strike. Castro, 27 years of age and already in his 8th season of the big leagues. He broke in as a regular for the Cubs as a 20-year-old back in 2010.
Came up as a shortstop. A little erratic over there at shortstop. The Yankees, smart, pick him up and put him at second base.
He leapfrogged over Darwin Barney. Barney was in AAA with the Cubs as a shortstop. He was in AA, and they promoted him from AA right to the big leagues.
Tying run at second. There's a fastball, but it misses down and in. Pressure-packed inning here for Ryan Tepera in the 7th against the Yankees. Good run on that fastball, 1-2.
He has that ability to make the ball go one way and then make it go the other way. And if he can do that on either corners, that's where he's going to be really tough. He can sink the ball in, or he can have sliders go away from right-handers.
Slider down and away, 2-2. Maybe more of the cutter there at 89 miles an hour. But he missed down and away. Up to 20 pitches now in the inning thrown by Tepera. With Castro the batter and another dangerous hitter, and Aaron Hicks waiting on deck should the inning continue. Yankees trying to claw their way all the way back. 2-2 pitch. Got it. He bent, but he didn't break. Yankees get a run, but Tepera strikes out Castro, and the Blue Jays still have the lead. Late stages here in the broadcast auction for Jays Care Foundation, presented by TD. With another update, here's Ivanka.
Dan, we're seeing some big numbers as we approach the deadline, but I'm still a little confused about Fire Up the Grilly and Views of the Six with Joe Biagini, 3,500 and 3,100 respectively. Don't you want to get up close and personal with these Jays players? How about the Grilly? What's better than talking baseball, having some beer and burgers with him at the Labatt Pub in Toronto? Or I think it's fair to say that Joe Biagini is probably the most interesting Jays player. I think people would agree with that. How about going up the CN Tower with Mr. Biagini? I have a feeling there'd be some interesting chats, Dan.
It would be an experience you would not soon forget with Joe Biagini, who, by the way, will get the start for the Blue Jays tomorrow afternoon. The Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TD. Phone lines will be open until 10 minutes following this half inning, following the bottom of the 7th. So no better time than right now to pick up the phone and put in a bid. Meanwhile, the Blue Jays leading the Yankees 6-5. It's turned into a real tug of war here in the last couple of innings. Here's Adam Warren.
The veteran will come in now to pitch the 7th inning. Warren, 20th game of the season. Fastball, slider, a little curveball, a little changeup. He's got a little bit of everything. He's had a great start to his 2017. Those numbers outstanding. 270 earned run average in 26 2/3 innings. Righties hitting just $1.07 against Warren. That's a savvy pickup by the Yankees last year. They got him back in a trade with the Cubs.
He was traded to the Cubs for Castro and then came back to the Yankees as part of the Chapman deal. And of course Chapman re-signed with the Yankees. Here's Justin Smoak, who's had a big night. A 2-run homer, a sac fly, and then a bloop single to left. He's up to 290. Long throw coming and safe at first. For some reason Carter wasn't on the bag as Castro made the throw.
Did he lose sight of the bag as he went back to first base? I mean, he was way off the bag. I think Joe Girardi and the gang, they want to take a look at this one.
I think Carter thought the ball got past Castro. Watch the first baseman how he reacts. This is past Castro. Now he's going to give up like it's a base hit. And then he turns around when Castro's throwing him the ball. But Carter thought it was a clean base hit past Starling Castro in right field. Never got back to first base. Even though he catches it, his foot's still not in contact with the base.
And the Yankees want to have a look. I mean, Carter's got to know Castro's in the shift, and he's way out in right field playing to pull. And the issue will be, did the toe of Carter touch the bag before Smoak came down on it?
He was getting in position to follow that runner to make sure he touches the bag, but all of a sudden he looked up and the ball was on its way.
The ball bounced behind Castro, and I think he lost sight of it. But the second baseman made a nice grab of it, turned around and fired to first and caught Carter off guard.
And remember, the call on the field is safe, which could work in the Blue Jays' favor, because if there's nothing conclusive, you can't overturn it. The call would stand. And did he nudge the base with his toes right there? The toes come up right at the end. Is he touching the corner of the base before Smoak comes down on it?
This one might be a good view if the base moves. Does it move?
Well, I don't think it moved until Smoak stepped on it, and then Carter kind of pushed his toe into the base about the same time. It's going to be a hard one to overturn. Isn't it amazing when you get at this level, everything is so close, and you got a major league first baseman, and he just assumed that it was a base hit.
Safe. So the call will stand. Smoak will be credited with a base hit. A mental mistake by Carter cost the Yankees.
And gives Smoak a 3-for-3 night.
Yep. Inching towards 300. That's about as long a throw to first as you'll ever see a second baseman make. Going out of the shift as far out into right field. Castro made a good play.
And Smokey would tell you it was his blinding speed that allowed him to beat it out.
Who says he never gets any infield hits? That's another infield hit.
4-3.
Here's Tulowitzki, 1 for 3. Lined a base hit into left field his last time up. Blue Jays have 12 hits on the night, and every single person in the lineup has at least one hit. Hooked down the left field line. It's going to drop. Smoak around to third. Tulowitzki into second.
When the Blue Jays have all of their players healthy and they're back in the lineup, this is one of the deepest lineups in baseball. For Tulowitzki, his second hit of the night, and this is something the Blue Jays haven't been able to do earlier in the season, is get the add-on runs late in the game. To be able to take advantage of that hit by Smoak, and this ball is going to drop fair, and Garner was playing over in the alley in left center. So Smoak goes first to third. Tulo ends up at second. Now the infield has to come in and try to save this run.
Answer runs. That's what I like that we're seeing tonight from the Blue Jays. They're answering the Yankees. When the Yankees score, the Blue Jays come right back.
Devin Travis, 1 for 3, had a base hit back in the third. Infield in, as Buck mentioned. Second and third, nobody out. Great opportunity for the Blue Jays to tack on.
That's the pitch Travis wanted, that high pitch to get it to the outfield. That's Tommy Lane, or Chasson Shreve, the other left hand. There's two of them down there. That is Shreve, the first lefty up.
Blue Jays are probably going to play this one, make the ball go through, because the infield in halfway. A lot of speed at third base, nobody out. You don't want to run into an out here.
Travis lays off.
And if you're Devin Travis, you're thinking, get the ball in the air. The last thing you want is something on the ground. Get the ball into the air.
Maybe find a gap like he's done so often recently and add to his doubles total.
Well, they're going to stay out there on him. They might show him the fastball in at times, but they're going to stay out there. I think they're pitching to his strength.
He's got right center on his mind.
Right center field. Right down the line. The right field line. We've seen him do that a few times. But they might take a shot at inside. Just one.
Sanchez didn't like something. He's headed to the mound. Maybe a little bit worried about the sign getting picked off out at second base.
Well, it looked like Adam Warren had a definite plan on his mind, and he's going to tell Starlin Castro, second baseman, going to put their heads together, and you can see Warren's doing all the talking. This is what I want to do right here in this at bat against Devin Travis. They might want to listen to him. He's 0 for 3 against Warren in his career.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And a changeup taken in the dirt. A full count now on Travis. Blue Jays up 6-5, bottom 7. The inning began with Justin Smoak reaching on a base hit. Troy Tulowitzki doubling into the left field corner to move Smoak to third. Bullpen busy for the Yankees, and the Blue Jays trying to add on with Ezekiel Carrera waiting on deck behind Travis. And they just can't get together.
Now he wants to talk about it, and obviously it's a very important pitch in this ball game, so you want to make sure there are no doubts in the pitcher's mind. Warren has a clear-cut idea what he wants to do.
Yep.
You can be the greatest catcher in the world, but if your pitcher doesn't believe it's a good pitch, it's not going to be a good pitch. He's got to have total conviction in throwing this next pitch.
3-2. Hit it hard, but a foul down the right side. Some tension for Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild. No more sitting. A little pacing and rocking back and forth right now in that first base dugout. Three-two again. Well, he got a ball up there to Travis, and he fouled it back.
Yeah, that's what you want in that situation. Something up the elevated you hit to the outfield, but he just fouled it straight back. You know, you saw Rothschild and Girardi standing in the dugout, and they have ultimate respect for the Blue Jays, and they're not thinking this is a last place team. They're thinking this is one of the real horses in the East.
Driven to left center field. Gardner will make the catch. Smoak can tag it to come home easily. Sac fly makes it 7-5.
3-2 breaking ball. Devin Travis, what an approach that whole time up. Staying on that ball, and he almost got it over Gardner's head in left field. But a good approach, and you know what he did? He stayed with his plan. He didn't deviate from it. Stayed right with it. Thinking ball away. Got a pretty decent pitch and almost got it over his head.
Now Ezekiel Carrera, 1 for 2, had a bunt single back in the second. He's also drawn a walk. Breaking ball for a strike. Shreve ready if needed in the bullpen for the Yankees. Chops a bunt back towards the mound. They will get Carrera. Tulowitzki to third now with 2 down. And meanwhile, in the Blue Jays pen, it's Joe Smith. Carrera's been credited with a sacrifice on that play. With 1 out, he's bunting for a base hit. We all get that he's advanced to runner, but 1 out, he's trying to bunt for a base hit.
Yeah, he just got it too close to the pitcher. He was trying to get it down the third baseline. He was bunting for a base hit.
I mean, that helps his stats, but should actually be an out, not a sacrifice. I mean, because he was trying to get himself aboard with 1 out. Either way, runner at third, 2 down. Fired up Jose Bautista.
Yeah, he might have been telling Carrera, hey, you got to swing the bat in that situation.
Yeah.
You're lefty on righty. You got the advantage of the platoon. And, hey, go for a base hit. You know, we already got to run in. You got a chance driving and run. You might be better off swinging at that pitch. Well, that caught Sanchez on the meat hand. Little check swing tamper. He exposed that right hand out there, and that caught him on that right hand. Watch how that hand drifts out into harm's way, and it fist fouls and actually caught him on the forearm. Just a little burner.
They don't hide it behind their leg anymore, that meat hand.
2-2 on Maley. Had a base hit back in the 4th inning. Came in to score on a wild pitch. At the time, that made it 5-0 Blue Jays. Seemed like a pretty comfortable lead. But then the Yankees struck back in the 6th inning with a couple of home runs to make it 5-4. And they've been trading runs ever since. Swing and a miss to end the inning. Blue Jays get a run, lead 7-5, end of 7. 10 minutes left to put in a bid on the Sportsnet Jays Care Foundation, a broadcast auction presented by TD. Don't miss out on some great opportunities, terrific experiences, and all for a very good cause.
To people are furiously trying to make some last minute bids because we've just got 8 minutes left until the auction officially closes. So ring in, get your bid in. There's still some good deals to be had. How about the Sportsnet Broadcast Experience? Current bid right now is $4,500, and that's a whole get to meet Buck and Pat, Jamie and Zahn. Some great stuff there. Fan packs, they have been sold out. So have the t-shirts, limited edition, but you can still get this necklace, $199. And of course, you can always make a donation. Very much appreciated to Jays Care. Dan?
All right, Ivanka, thank you. So we're down to about 7.5 minutes left. Still time to put a bid on one of these great prizes. We go to the 8th inning at Rogers Center. Blue Jays up 7-5, and here comes Joe Smith.
He leads the relievers, Blue Jay relievers now. 29th appearance on the season for Smith, and he's almost been perfect if you look at those numbers right there. Racking up the strikeouts with that sidearm two-singer and sweeping breaking ball.
The strikeouts really jump out at you. To have 39 strikeouts in 25 2/3 innings. Smith has never had anything close to that kind of strikeout rate before.
Now, he has really located the ball well, just like those first 2 pitches. And I think the one thing that has really helped him be so effective is he's throwing strike after strike after strike. And he's throwing good quality pitches outside to lefties, and then he'll throw that breaking ball that's way off the plate when it starts and then catches the outside corner. Got too much of the plate on that one. But he has really thrown the ball well, and he's throwing with a lot of confidence. You know, last year he had 2 different stints with a hamstring injury with the Angels, and then later on after he went to Chicago with the Cubs. And if you watch his delivery, he uses his legs an awful lot. In fact, he jumps off the rubber. So his legs are very important to his success.
He was telling me the other day his legs feel as strong as they ever have in his career.
Hicks finds a hole and sends one into center field for a base hit. Gentlemen, if you're interested in your scorecards being accurate, we have 2 scoring changes from last half inning. Take away a base hit from Justin Smoke. It's now an E3 on Carter for not finding the bag, and take away the sacrifice from Carrera. It's now just a 1-3 putout.
Thank you.
You very well.
I need some whiteout.
And I do too. D.D. Gregorius tying run at the plate. The outs not coming easily for either team the last couple of innings. Both teams with a lot of traffic. Big swing and a miss there, 1-1. And the way things have gone with the Yankees getting a run last inning, barring a double play this inning, it's going to get back around to the big boys in the 9th. One way or the other.
It normally does, doesn't it, when these heavyweights get together?
Well, and the thing good for the Blue Jays is they'll get back to their big boys as well. Because Maley made the last out, so they're going to have to go through the lineup one more time.
Fouled back, 1-2. It's cooled off quite a bit from the beginning of the night. Roof has been open all night, though. A beautiful evening, a little bit cooler now, but still very pleasant. And a big weekend coming. 2 more games with the Yankees tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Joe Biagini on the mound tomorrow. Marcus Stroman on Sunday. And crowds of about 46,000 expected both days for these division rivals.
Thought I heard somewhere that it's a bobblehead day on Sunday.
It is.
Josh
Donaldson bobblehead day.
People will be lining up early.
Yes, sir.
Oh, they do, man.
Yep.
7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning they line up.
Yep. You can see some of the bids here. We're getting up to some good numbers, up to 7,700 now on the trip to Chicago to see the Blue Jays play at Wrigley. Just 3.5 minutes left in the auction.
Let me tell you something. You go there and I'll recommend a couple of restaurants for you.
That alone is worth something.
Yeah.
This guy right here knows more restaurants than
It's a pretty
anybody.
good city to eat in, folks. There's the broadcast experience. That's 5,200. last minute. Don't get shut out now. You'd be disappointed if you had made a promise to somebody that you were going to buy an auction item and you get shut out. Just under 3 minutes now.
Donations welcome as well if you'd like to contribute in ways other than bidding on some of the prizes. Meanwhile, Gregorius the tying run. Nobody out. 8th inning, full count in a battle with Joe Smith. Got him. Big first out.
That's that two-seam sinker that he can run right off the plate to left-handers. We showed the numbers that he has had against lefties, and they're outstanding because he can do this. Just turns it over enough to pick up the strikeout.
When you construct a bullpen and you can put together different looks for hitters to deal with, it's really an asset. Pete Walker has been wanting this type of pitcher in his bullpen for a long time. A guy that gives hitters a different look.
Carrera over near the seats, but it's back out of play.
Pete likes the fact that Smith comes in, throws strikes, got the sinker and the slider. He can locate his pitches on both sides of the plate. Ryan Chapera has the power, the hard slider. Osuna's got the power, the slider, and a changeup. Grilly's got his slider back now. There's a lot of different looks down in that Blue Jays bullpen.
Oh, 1. Swing and a miss. And how tricky is it as a hitter? Does it almost look like the ball is rising because of where it's coming from?
Yeah, it does, because it comes up and it just makes you feel like, and Joe can do it. He'll throw that slider that will actually cut up into the hands of these left-handed hitters.
I talked to him in Atlanta. I was talking to him as a hitter, and I would say, whenever I would face somebody like you, Joe, you either take the inside part of the plate or you take the outside part of the plate, because guys like this who are from down under like this, side armors who can spin the ball and sink the ball, you can't go up there looking for both sides of the plate. And he says, I know that. I've seen that guy's trying to lean out over there. He has the ability then to come inside to the right-handers. Or if he sees righties spinning on the ball on the inside, he can throw that slider down and away. He does a great job of reading bats.
Been around a long time. Broke in with the Mets back in 2011. This is his 11th season in the major leagues. Chopper back towards the mound. Only play to first for out number 2. Up to second goes Hicks. Final seconds of the Jays Care broadcast auction presented by TD. Big thanks to everybody, both who worked on it, Ivanka and Carolyn, and all the great volunteers, and everybody who phoned in and placed a bid as well.
You talk about Joe Smith really coming around with his strikeouts. He has a 13.7 strikeout per 9 inning ratio, and this is the highest strikeout to walk ratio he's ever had. It's over 550. 5.5 strikeouts for every walk. He has really had a outstanding season to this point, best of his career.
Hasn't walked a right-handed batter this season.
A big reason why things really settled down on the Blue Jays as part of their resurgence in the month of May. Chris Carter hitting under 200, but with his power always a threat, and he represents the tying run.
Pretty good looking pitch on that first pitch.
Just low again, ball 2. There's a strike. 2-1.
Well, you can see the finish of his pitch too. It might not register much on the radar gun, but you watch Maley's glove and there's a lot of sink right as it gets into the hitting zone, and that's what allows him to get so much soft contact. He sees something that he wants to let Luke know about, and the pitcher sometimes can see it better than the catcher. as he's looking directly in at the hitter, and he can see his body, how he's attacking the baseball, what he has on his mind. No sign.
Yep, they talked about it. And it was the slider in for a strike, 2-2.
Look where he's throwing all those pitches. Some of them are just off the plate, but everything is down and away. And of course, Carter strikes out a lot.
Here comes the sweeper.
Here comes the noise. Sweeper didn't go. A little bit of extra break on that slider, but Carter wouldn't chase.
Showing a little bit more patience as he checks his swing.
3-2.
Yankees won 3 of the 4 games so far this season, but you can bet there are going to be a lot more games like this for the rest of the schedule between these two ball clubs.
When you mix in the Red Sox and the Orioles, going to be a whole lot of games like this throughout the division. And of course, Tampa Bay, they can be problematic as well. The Blue Jays know that as much as anybody. Toughest division in baseball, as it seems to be just about every year. Broken about liner, caught by Smith to end the inning. Great concentration with the bat flying back out at him as well, at least a part of it. And a big 8th inning for Joe Smith. Time now for an update. Again, here are Jamie and Greg in the Samsung broadcast studio. Most flights from Canada. Take a swing at your WestJet Vegas surprise and book now for the whole team at westjet.com/Vegas. Look at the WestJet flight deck where a lot of the action has been for the Jays Care Foundation broadcast auction tonight. And we'll check in shortly one more time with Ivanka and company to see what the totals are on this night as Chasen Shreve enters the game for the Yankees.
Pretty good earned run average, 0.64. He's only allowed 1 earned run and 14 innings pitched over 11 relief appearances. Lefties haven't had a chance against Shreve this year. Fastball slider split. Blue Jays have had good numbers against this left-hander in his career. They've hit some big home runs against him. And he's off to a good start in 2017. He'll face the top of the order.
Beginning with Kevin Pillar, 1 for 4. 7-5 Blue Jays trying to answer back after the Yankees took the first game of the series. Pillar singled to center back in the second. Also hit the ball hard in the 4th inning when he lined out to center. Top of the 9th at Camden Yards, and the Orioles lead the Red Sox 3-2. Baltimore trying to make it 2 in a row over Boston. 1-1 the count on Pilar, Donaldson, and Bautista to follow. Donaldson with 2 home runs in this game. See some of the action from around the major leagues. The Tigers all over the White Sox. They've scored 15 runs tonight. Clayton Kershaw reached a milestone tonight. Career strikeout number 2,000 for the Dodgers ace, becoming the 3rd fastest pitcher in terms of innings pitched ever to get to 2,000 strikeouts, behind only Pedro Martinez and Randy Johnson. That's good company.
Max Scherzer is only 19 away from 2,000, and he's going to have it faster than Kershaw. And he's got like 1,775 innings, and he's going to pass Kershaw to move into 3rd place later on.
Kershaw did it 277 games. Randy Johnson got his 2,262 games.
Over the mound, here comes Gregorius. Pilar retired 1 down. Drive of the game brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the Blue Jays and proud fans since 1977.
Well, another multi-home run game tonight, this time by the Blue Jays. 1st inning, Josh Donaldson gets a slider from Michael Pineda, deposits it over the left field wall for his 1st home run, then goes down and gets that curveball from Jonathan Holder and takes it way deep and answers the Yankees with that home run in the 6th inning. Those are our drives of the game tonight.
There's Josh Donaldson with the 2 home runs, now 5 on the season. Average up over 300. Do it again, they say, and hit it right here. That's asking a lot. We'd like you to hit a home run, and we'd like you to hit it right here as well. Over on the Blue Jays side of the bullpen, Roberto Osuna is up. The Yankees will bring up the top of their lineup in the 9th. Inside, 2-1.
Josh has had 1 3-home run game in his career last August 28th right here against the Twins.
Something in his eye, I think, and asked for time at the last moment.
He's looking pretty comfortable at the plate, if you ask me. The way that he is going about attacking pitches.
Big noisy crowd here at Rogers Center tonight. 44,261. And a lot to cheer about with the Blue Jays hitting 3 homers and still hanging on to this lead, trying to even up the series. Big attendance numbers here at Rogers Center again this year. 2-2. Got it. Let's check in one last time with Ivanka Osmak with the totals. Ivanka, how'd we do?
Dan, we have a final number, and man, you can say we hit a home run tonight. $276,000, 425. Huge number for the Jays Care auction. So thank you everyone. Just to highlight some of the big numbers, $9,000 for that slam dunk experience, and the U2 concert that includes the suite at the Rogers Center, more than $12,000, and almost $80,000 in donations to Jays Care. So thank you all to the winners, and thank you for donating and watching. It was another success. Dan?
Awesome stuff. Great work by you. And again, big thanks to everybody who made a donation or bid on an auction item. Terrific stuff for the Jays Care Foundation. Jose Bautista 1 for 3 with a walk. Walked and scored back in the 3rd. Had a base hit to right in the 4th. There's been so much going on the last few innings. It seems like a long time ago, but Francisco Liriano came off the DL, and other than the last 2 batters he faced when he gave up the 2 runs, he was terrific for 5 innings. Pitched out of jams, got out of runner at third, nobody out, got a big double play ball to get out of another jam. And I think the Blue Jays have to be really happy with what they saw from him.
Well, you know what? He went out to start the 6th, and he threw 81 pitches. So next time out, the chances are he'll be unlimited in what he can do. So that's a great sign for the Blue Jays that he came back and threw the ball so well against the hot-hitting Yankee team.
He looked like he did earlier in the year when he was healthy. His last couple of starts, he just didn't look healthy. Couldn't finish his pitches. That is a good sign. Get Jay Happ back.
Yep.
He'll be able to stretch it out just a little bit more in his next starts.
And Sanchez, they hope, getting closer slowly but surely.
I think he's going to throw over the weekend.
Bautista thought it was ball 4, but back he goes.
Sure, he turns that changeup over. It's like a screwball working down and away.
He throws a splitter, and that's the splitter. Jose thought it was low. Here Sanchez pulled that thing back up.
So the count is full. And he got him. Right on the outside corner with the knees to end the inning. So we're going to the 9th. Osuna coming in. Top of the order for the Yankees. The Blue Jays up by 2.
Sportsnet. Presented by the rugged Honda Pioneer Off-Road family. Your adventure begins here.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Fun night at the ballpark. Auction raising over $275,000. 3 home runs for the Blue Jays. 2 by Josh Donaldson. That one by Justin Smoke, who's driven in 3 on the night. And now it's up to Roberto Osuna to try to get the last 3 outs.
Osuna's been hot coming in here. He's got that save total up to 11. He's 11 for 14 this season. 23 games now for the right-hander. Tell you what, his control has been great this season. Roberto's only walked 2 batters all year long.
Top of the order for the Yankees, beginning with Brett Gardner.
Roberto has pitched very well against the Yankees for his career. This is his 19th career appearance. He is 9 for 10 in saves, and they have combined with a 164 opponent's batting average against Osuna. They haven't hit him very well.
In the air, left center. Who wants it? Carrera, one down. Now for a preview of what's coming up on Sportsnet Central, let's go to Carly Agro and Ken Reed. What a teaser that is. We'll look forward to that later on. The Blue Jays 2 outs away from a victory. Gary Sanchez the batter. Aaron Judge on deck. With the 1 out of the bases empty. Sanchez 1 for 4 tonight. Good hard slider, 0-1.
He's been using that cutter a lot now lately. I asked him about that the other day, and so you throw more cutters. He said, 2015 I had it. I wanted to bring it back with the help of my father, who helped me refine my cutter. It's something different than his other off-speed pitch.
He's kind of a tinkerer out there. Has the hesitation in his delivery sometimes. He's recorded a save in each of his last 6 appearances. Missed down low. Had a couple in the Cincinnati series. A couple in the Texas series prior to that. Racking him up here on the homestand.
That reflects how well the rest of his bullpen mates have pitched, that they could save him those exclusive situations.
Lined right at Tulowitzki for out number 2.
Well, I guess if you have to face Aaron Judge, this is the best way to do it. 2 outs, nobody on, and you're up by 2 runs. You give up a long one and you're still winning.
Tell you what I'd do if I'm Luke Maile right here. I'd throw him high fastballs. Just because you want to see how he reacts to high fastballs. They haven't thrown him any high fastballs tonight. That might serve you well. Rivera's velocity's been consistent since he got healthy. He started the season on the DL, but he's been 96, 97 consistently with that fastball.
There's a high fastball in good spots. 95.
You want to throw it to him to see how he reacts to it. You might need it later on.
Boy, it's an early June game that has kind of a September feel to it with these two teams going at it. And the kind of game that it's been, Blue Jays a strike away from victory. Fastball. Judge swings through it. Osuna strikes him out, and the Blue Jays win it 7-5.
Well, Osuna now, that's 7 straight appearances with a save and a big bounce back win. Josh Donaldson got things started early with a home run. Smokey followed him up with a 2-run shot in the first. The hitters came around. The bullpen really did a nice job, and it really complemented the return of Francisco Liriano back to this rotation.
Home runs once again for the Blue Jays play a big part on it. You mentioned the Donaldson home run and then the Smoke home run. I like what the bullpen did again tonight. Barnes loop to Paris, Smith, and Osuna, pitching 4 innings. And this gave up 4 hits in those 4 innings against a very good hitting team.
And the Blue Jays will have another opportunity tomorrow to get back to the 500 mark. Joe Biagini on the mound for the Blue Jays. 7-5. Blue Jays beat the Yankees. Time now for Sportsnet Central with Carly and Ken.